Yo, 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 yo. What up, lifers? What up, lifers? It's Dave Life. It's Dave Life. You're watching Dave Life After Dark episode number 234. Dave Life After Dark episode number 234. Did Katt Williams expose the truth in comedy? Did Katt Williams expose the truth in comedy? Look, man, you could have been anywhere in the world, but you're here with us tonight. So I want to say thank you. I really appreciate that. For all of you that are on Instagram, come on over to YouTube. Come on over to YouTube. That's where we are. Go to YouTube, type in Dave Life TV, click on the live tab, and you'll see us. Come on over to YouTube. Look, man, let's start this out like we always do. Dear Heavenly Father, have your way, Lord. I pray that you would speak to your people. I pray that you would enlighten us, entertain us, and inform us, Lord. I pray less of me and more of you. Have your way, Lord. Forgive us for our sins that we've committed by both commission and omission, Lord. Charge it to our head and not our hearts. I ask that you would bless us and let us have a great conversation and let us understand something and gain an understanding with someone else. Give you all the praise, glory, and honor. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen, amen, and amen. What up, y'all? Again, it's Dave Life. It's Dave Life. You're watching Dave Life After Dark. If you're new to the show, this is episode number 234. We've done a lot on Instagram, and we are now over here on YouTube, enjoying the YouTube space, man. So, welcome to everybody, man. We're enjoying everybody in the YouTube space. Thank you for everybody, man, that's joining. Everybody that's over here on Instagram, come on over to YouTube. All right. Hey, I want to bring up a couple of my guests. I got my homeboy, my Mello, my man. You know what? Kevin 11, come on to the stage. He's the co-host of Freestyle Fridays. My man Kevin KJ Williamson. What up, Kevin?
What it is, sir. Happy Katt
What up,
Williams
Doc?
Day.
I'm good, man. How you feeling, man?
I'm feeling catty.
Feeling catty?
I'm feeling catty. You know, that's going to be the new thing now. How people say lit and things is busting. I'm feeling cattish, you know.
Yeah. It's crazy, man. Before I even get you going, let me bring up the other two young gentlemen, and then we're gonna let everybody have their way right quick. I got another young brother I want to bring to the stage. And this man right here, this is my cousin. This is my literal cousin. All right. He got me into the YouTube game years ago with the wheel that he was rocking. This man is a sneaker head. I'm getting a little bit of echo. Hold up. Is it me? Hold on, y'all. Let me make sure I remove the echo. All right, echo cancellation. All right, cool. Let me turn this down. Okay. And I'm gonna put everyone on mute. All right, come on up to the stage, my man, Retro Rick. Retro Rick from Retro Rick and Maddie's Kicks.
Dave,
what up, Cuzzo?
What's good?
Cuz you the one that got me on this whole thing, man. You got me on StreamYard, you got me on YouTube. So I got to say thank you for putting me on to the new tech and helping me step up the game. And thank you for being on the show, man. Tell them really quick about your show, like 10 seconds, and then I'm gonna bring up the next guest.
Oh man, we got a podcast called Retrovision Podcast where we keep y'all up to date and current on sneaker releases, fashion, hip hop culture, and we doing sports this year too in 2024, man. Y'all stay tuned. Retrovision Podcast is under Retro Rick and Maddie's Kicks on YouTube. Kale, how we doing? Microphone thing? How we doing, family?
I'm doing great, man. Just, you know, try to hit the ground running, trying to be productive and make it intentional.
Hey, Retro, can we put your handle down here at the bottom for people?
Yep.
I got you. No, I got you right here. All right, Retro. Actually, you know what, Cuzzo? You might have to type this on there. Oh, I think I got it. Tell me if I get this right. All right, and then Kev, did you put your handle in?
I absolutely did.
Boom. Is that right, Retro?
We got. I'm in the chat too on the side. Yep, we good. Retro Rick and Maddie's Kick. That's what you got.
Yep. Okay. All right, and then you are at microphone fiend _ right, Kev?
Yes.
You want me to put Kev as the name or leave the name as microphone fiend?
Microphone fiend. Rakim. Shout out.
Fiend. Shout out to Rakim. Yeah, Kev is the co-creator of Freestyle Fridays. He came to me one day and said, "Hey Dave, you know, you always got a serious show. We should do a show about comedy, man. We can just laugh, somewhere we can just freestyle, come off the dome." And I was like, that sounds dope, man. He was like we used to do at the shop, just laugh, man. Me and you kicking it. Mm-hmm. What should we call it? Kev, you said
Freestyle Loving Friday.
Friday. Cleaning up for the gram, no doubt. Hey, and look, last but not least, I got my homeboy. This guy is a comedian. He's been in various movies and TV shows. He just had his own stand-up called Offend Everybody. And I believe that is coming out soon. I went to the actual show, but I believe they're going to be distributing it soon. This is a funny guy. And I'm going to say this. Hey, Steve, I know you offend everybody, but try not to tonight, man. I got my homeboy, comedian Steve Turner, on the on Dave Life After Dark. What up, Steve?
Hey, what's going on, Dave? Man, I want to give a big shout out to. I don't know if I've told you this before. We probably cousins because microphone thing. That's one of my neighbors, and Rick. Me and Rick, that's my real cousin, man. We got the same great grandmother and everything. Also, for real, his real name was Zeri, and me and not my grandmother. You know.
Already.
That's crazy. Hold up. So yeah, hey, I think I am getting a little bit of feedback. So I think Kev, turn me down. You got me on something, Bluetooth or something. Do you have your
Mute.
AirPods? Yeah, because when you talk, and when you're on mic, I'm getting the echo. So can you adjust that, Kev?
I am not on Bluetooth. I don't think I am.
Okay. Do you have your AirPods?
I don't have any. I was trying to get some for Christmas, but Santa dissed me.
It's all good. It's all good. All right, y'all. So what I'm gonna do is, I think you have a mute, Kev and
No,
Steve.
let's see if that's better. Is that better?
Nope, getting an echo. So look, when I mute you, it's cool. So if you're saying something, I'll just have to make sure I unmute, or you can unmute yourself. Is that cool?
Okay. See if that's better. Does it still sound like an echo?
Check 1 2. No,
Check
that's
1
better.
2. Is that better?
It's a little bit, but it's better, but it's still a little bit.
Okay. Hopefully that'll get us through my segment, and then I can.
No doubt. All right, so look, everybody that's on Instagram, come on over to YouTube. Go to YouTube, type in DaveLifeTV, all one word, and then go to the live page, and you'll see us here. I want y'all to make sure y'all come to YouTube so that you're a part of the show. Jump in the comments. It's a live show. It's a live stream. The comments are here, and we see y'all. Me and Retro in the comments right now saying
in real
what
time.
up
In real time.
in real time, man. All right, y'all. So I want to play one clip, and then we're going to get into this. All right, yeah. Let me pause that. All right. So look, everybody saw Katt Williams, his actual discussion with Club Shay Shay, right? I think everybody saw that. What I want to do is just play. It's so many clips, but Katt Williams got on there on Club Shay Shay with Shannon Sharp, and he aired out a lot of things. And without me trying to color what he said, without me trying to couch what he said a certain way, I'm just going to start with this. The question that I have for everyone on the stage, and I want you guys to listen to the clip and think of the question, and then we're going to all respond in turns. The question I have is, did Katt Williams expose the truth in comedy? Did Katt Williams expose the truth in comedy? Now, the reason I'm playing this clip about Kirk Franklin is because Kirk Franklin was the last guest on Club Shay Shay before he actually had Katt Williams on. So Kirk Franklin came on. He gave a very exposing and riveting and open, conversation with Shannon. It was really good. I mean, look, even Kirk Franklin, being a man of God that he is, he dropped a couple of small cuss words like hell, and so he just showed his human side a little bit, and I thought that was interesting. But a lot of his answers were, well, we're gonna pray for that person, where we're going to take the high road. And the first thing that Katt Williams said is that this is the other side of the Kirk Franklin interview. So listen to this, man.
The other side of Kirk Franklin praying. This is the reckoning. 2024. The reckoning. This is the other side of Kirk Franklin praying.
The other side.
This is the reckoning. 2024.
So my question is this, you guys. He's saying it's the other side. It's the reckoning. My question is this, man: did Katt Williams tell the truth? Did Katt Williams tell the truth in comedy? He said a lot. I know that he said a lot. And Kev, I know you got a limited amount of time, so I'm coming to Kev first. Did Katt Williams tell the truth in comedy? Did he expose some sort of truth in comedy? Did he expose anything that he said? Was it true? Did he expose through his actions some truth about comedy that non-comedians may not have known? Did he expose the truth in comedy, Kev?
It was his truth, as he saw it, and every comedian, we're storytellers. So whether we're on stage, we're always on. If we're doing interviews, if we're doing red carpet segments, if we're doing blogs, podcasts, we're always performing. We're always in rare form. We're always giving some type of performance. It's just in us naturally. Katt is very entertaining. And I would treat Katt like we treat hip hop. It's only entertainment. It's a form of entertainment. You don't have to take everything that you hear literally, you know. 70 to 80% of what comedians say has probably something that's been embellished in it, in the story. So, he didn't say anything that we didn't already know over the years. I just think when he was screaming a lot of this stuff, the internet was still new. We still had Vine, TikTok wasn't a thing, and Thriller and all of that stuff. So, now when something comes out, it has 5 and 6 different places that it can get regurgitated, for people that are not as abreast to what's going on as we are. So what I think Katt did was brilliant. I think what he did was brilliant. He uses platforms for himself and at the same time to create a buzz. So, was there truth? I would just answer you, like I said, by saying it was his truth. It doesn't, but again, the internet is not a real place. So you have people that literally hang on every word that someone says, especially when they are talented. If you're a musician, a comedian, an athlete, damn near to a lot of people, what you say is I don't even want to use that word, but you know the word that I'm thinking of. Like people would believe more what Katt say rather than the word that was
Yeah,
presented us to read in the
like
scriptures
it was
every day.
gospel.
Yes,
Mhm.
gospel.
Like it
There
was
we go.
gospel.
Thank you, bro.
Mm-hmm.
And it's unfortunate because people won't do research or fact check, or find out what was embellished or anything like that. If Katt says water is wet, people gonna be like, "Oh hell no!" Katt just told us water was wet. It's
Right.
like, it's that kind of thing. So it's like anything, take it with a grain of salt. But I
So
don't think
he told his truth.
he told his truth. It
Okay.
doesn't mean it's a lie. It doesn't mean it's his truth. In his mind, that's just what it is.
In
And
his mind.
that's where I'll leave it. That's my perspective. He told his truth because we all say it's his story, her story, and then there's the truth. Because it's always going to be variations and versions of it. So yeah.
Okay. Retro. Did Katt Williams expose the truth in comedy?
Man, me personally, internet undefeated, man. Like I'm gonna piggyback off my guy said, man. They so quick with the memes and just putting everything together. It's crazy. They want you to pick a side. This is the kind of crazy thing about it. They actually want you to pick a side. So that's the kind of throwing me off. I'm not gonna say I'm not the one person. Like it's his story. You got his side. I'm sure you got Steve Harvey, Ricky Smiley. He called out a lot of people, bro.
Yeah, he did.
What was getting me, I guess, more so is no one didn't say he's not telling the truth neither. Ain't no one like someone's calling me out or saying that I stole a joke or what he's saying, or I'll be coming at you, man. Or even like he was talking about I guess with the rituals with the dress. I watched it a couple of times. If it was me and them people's shoes, internet undefeated, but you getting a phone call. I don't know if they called them or not, but you getting a personal phone call. I'm pulling up, man. So that's just me, man. And no one have done that I know of. So maybe it's a truth to some of it, but he's going to embellish it because he is a comedian. So they want you, it's like it's entertainment, at the end of the day. And that's why I think Shannon Sharp sit back and just kind of let him talk too as well, because he knew it was gonna be entertainment.
Okay. All right. So he told his truth, but there's a little or a lot of entertainment to it because it's undefeated, right? And Shannon let
I
him
said
go
in
because he
that,
knew.
yeah. I said in that defeat. If I was gonna gauge it just by, I didn't watch it maybe twice now. I'll probably say, let me know if I'm wrong. Maybe 70% true, 30% kind of piped itself up and made it more than what it was.
I mean, we'll find out. We'll find out.
They're
You
coming
know,
out with the paperwork.
yeah. I'm not gonna give my weigh in until Steve goes. All right. So Steve, you are a comedian, and meaning like you've been on shows, right? I mean, I would say of everybody on the panel, you're probably the one that's done the most in terms of the comedy world. So Steve, and look, I know you know stuff. I know you know people, but I want you to just give us how you feel. Did Katt Williams expose the truth in comedy?
Well, like I said, I did not really see everything that he said, but the things that I saw, he really told the truth. And I've been doing comedy 32 years, man. He said something about Tiffany Haddish not being at the comedy store, which is true because Tiffany is in my class. Me and Tiffany used to do the Laugh Factory together, but the comedy store was only a few black comedians. Me, Thomas Ward, Yorsi, Ron. So it wasn't that many. For some odd reason, people thought the comedy store at that time was don't go there, they don't mess with black people. So, which is cool. I'm talking 20, 30 years ago, 91, 2000. So he said that, and I don't think above everything, the point that people are missing out, Katt Williams was just exposing the industry, kind of, if you will. And he was using the people in the industry as examples. He wasn't really calling out everybody, but he was telling the truth. Because I told you about the first movie they offered me. It was going to pay me $200,000 for it. I get 15 to 30 of those roles a week. So he's telling, I mean, and I've done shows with Katt, but I'm on nobody's side. I'm just going by the facts because I go by facts, not feelings. So it was legitimate to me.
Okay.
If we can
so he told the truth about what goes on in comedy. So Steve, that's a great point. This is what I want to know, right? Kev, you're a comedian. Steve, you're a comedian. And feel free to open up. Do comedians steal jokes?
Hey, let me say this, Dave. You know what I used to say? Back in the day, before I even got on TV doing comedy, I used to travel. Chicago, New York, Detroit, all those places I was hitting, Las Vegas. And I tell everybody this all the time. My jokes was on BET before me. And that's a fact. That's the truth. That's a part of the business. My jokes was on BET before I was. Because I didn't get on Comic View until 2000, didn't do Coming to the States until 2003. And my jokes were definitely on TV before me. So when I would go to different cities, say, man, you got that's what's the name joke. So that's just how it goes. It's a part of the business.
Wow. Okay. So your jokes were on TV before you. So if a Kevin, have you ever seen that? Have you ever seen comedians steal jokes or take material?
I was given advice by a well-established comic on being careful about my jokes and when I'm telling them, and just to be mindful, because you heard it from some fellow comics. I think it was Bernie Mac that gave some advice, and he said, be careful for an established comic and for somebody that's up and coming, and they have a platform and you don't. So when he says that joke, you assume it's his because they heard it out of his mouth first when it's really your stuff, and it's scary because you have lazy comics out here that don't write jokes because it took to write a joke, to set up a joke, to actually have it to the point where it has legs and people are laughing at it. It's priceless. It's very expensive. It's how we feed ourselves. It's how we make a name for ourselves. But, it's no different than sign stealing in baseball or football or any of that. People are always looking to have an advantage. And then also it's the truth. There's nothing new under the sun. So even if you're not trying to bite a comics joke, everybody talks about the same topics, so how you tell a joke is your signature. Everybody has talked about Michael Jackson, but the way you tell a story separates yourself from everybody else in the story they tell.
Okay, I see that. Well, let me ask this question. Retro, I know that you're in a different field when it comes to sneaker culture, but do people in the sneaker game borrow or steal ideas or steal tips and tricks or steal methods? Have you seen that sort of thing happening in sneaker culture?
Oh, facts. It's just everyday life, man. I think I go with anything. Work, job, skills. Um, if you got something going on, somebody know that you got something going on, you doing it well, they gonna watch you, bite it, steal it. Of course, I go with anything, though. I think.
Does that take away from the originality, or does it take away from the product? And this is for everybody on the panel. If a comedian steals a joke, or if a sneaker person takes an idea, does it, I guess, take the art down? Does it destroy something? Or let's go with Steve first. If a comedian steals a joke, or is there such thing as borrowing material? Is there such thing as saying, "I heard this and I'm gonna remix it"? You know what I mean? Or is it straight up stealing?
Well, like I said, back in the '90s, man, I see a lot of fights and people stealing jokes. But I mean, that's why Joe Rogan and Carlos Mencia got into it. Carlos Mencia at the Comedy Store, they were banned a little bit. So the thing with Mike Epps and Thomas Ward, it's the same thing. There's always been that kind of a thing going on. It will always be that kind of thing because, like you said, people are lazy and writing a joke sometimes is a little difficult. People just don't want to put the time in. But it's not the first time it happens. It's not going to be the last. It happens. It's a part of the business. And it's only a problem if you don't understand this is show business. And the word business is bigger than show. So it's going to happen. Just keep going. We keep on moving.
Okay. Does it take away from Kevin in your mind? Does it take away from the reputation? Like, for instance, they said that Katt asserted that Cedric the Entertainer took one of his jokes, right? And I could find that joke. They have it circulating on Instagram, and saying that he was saying that Ced took the joke. But when I saw the comments on the Instagram post and the TikTok post, the audience was saying that Ced did the joke better. Ced was on a bigger stage, and it was funnier when Ced did it. So they kind of gave Ced a pass. I was like, you know what? He did it better. So, okay, he borrowed your joke. And Ced was bigger at the time. Does it take away if Cedric the Entertainer, or any comedian for that matter, or any creator for that matter, Retro, if they take somebody's idea and remix it and do it better, does that, you know what I'm saying? Does that take away from that person's talent or take away from the product they put out? Does it mess with their rep or not, Kev?
That's such a loaded question. I'll say, um, time will tell. If you're a comic that steals jokes, if you're not good, um, history will not be kind to you, especially now when everything is documented and people can pull up receipts. So, you know, we all know Cedric the Entertainer is funny as hell. So, um, you're talking about one joke over the Kings of Comedy came out damn near 25 years ago. So, and this is the only infraction that we're talking about. There's nobody else that has come forward with damaging or damning insight on Cedric or any body like Ricky Smiley, who's successful in itself, you know, stealing people's material. If you're known for that, a lot of people will start to say, hey, this is true. So you haven't heard nothing to that effect. And Cedric has had about 3 or 4 well-known comedy specials over the years, and nobody has ever talked about that, you know. So as far as joke stealing, damaging comedy was here before Katt Williams, and it'll be here after Katt Williams and Cedric the Entertainer and me and Steve. And it's a genre that we're benefiting from. We are not the architects of it. We are people that had a great opportunity to partake in something that was laid, a foundation was laid way before we touched it. You know, it's like hip hop. You know, you got sucker MCs and comedy now is the new rap game, you know, where you got people beefing and set tripping and all of that. So, you know, and hip hop is still fine. People are still eating off of it. I think it gives it great attention. That's one thing I could say for our genre. So shout out to everybody, including Mr. Potato Head Steve Harvey, because everybody is relevant, just like in hip hop. If you didn't like Kid and Play, that was in WA. If you don't like Steve Harvey, you like Katt Williams. It's everybody got a dog in the race, and that's where the opinions matter. If you're more of a Katt fan, you'd be like, hell yeah, Katt wasn't capping. But if there's some people out here that don't like this, and they like, I don't like them dissing Uncle Steve, or I'm like them dissing Uncle Sid. At the end of the day, from a personal standpoint, I worry about Katt because he could possibly alienate himself from his own fraternity. And that's my concern outside of that, that I worry about. Will it be a situation where people won't rock with him, because that can be something that, will be a lasting effect, because these people, have production companies. Kevin Hart has a production company. Ricky Smiley has a syndicated talk show. Cedric the Entertainer has his own television show. So when you look at situations like Steve could say, yo, Kev, man, I got a show this weekend. Come do, 2 sets for me, man. I got $1,000 for you. That's the blessing you'll mess up. Katt could be like, I'm my own entity. But at the end of the day, people have been talking about dresses. Dave Chappelle was one of the first people that talked about how he was approached to wear a dress. So this isn't new. Flip Wilson was wearing dresses. It didn't affect his legacy. You know what I'm saying? And I can go on and on about that. I just think, again, take everything with a grain of salt. Katt Williams' opinions and truths of his own, it's not the Bible. It's just his opinion. It's his take, and that's just that.
Okay, my bad. I was on mute. Steve, let's throw it over to you. Does taking a joke, stealing a joke, borrowing a joke, remixing an idea, does that take away from the talent or the quality of the joke? For instance, if Sid did it better on a bigger stage and it was funnier, does that take away from that joke because he took it from Katt or he borrowed it from Katt? Does it take away from it if someone does it take away from Sid's talent or anyone's talent for that matter? We're not picking on Cedric the Entertainer, all right? But does that take away from the person that borrowed?
Well, to me personally, I don't know, just because back in the day, man, stealing joke was just almost like going to somebody's house and stealing you couldn't borrow somebody's wife and have sex with her and then drop her back off. It's just, you know what I mean? It was a real personal thing, but it's a different day now, and I understand that's a different day. So things happen. It's just I've just seen so much stuff. I can't say I wouldn't advise things like that, because like I said, in the 90s, people would fight behind that kind of stuff. So it's a new day, and it just happened as a part of the business. So, I hate that would have happened, but it happens, and you just got to keep on moving no matter what, because everything that stopped moving is dead. Really, you got to keep moving so you don't just become bitter and die off.
But do you think it takes away? I know you said back in the 90s it was like taboo; they didn't do it. But if someone is caught, for instance, you mentioned one of the other Latino comedians, right? I know that George Lopez had accused another Latino comedian. Forgive me, I don't know the names. You might know the names. If you're accused of stealing a joke, does it mar a person's reputation that's accused?
Of course, that's what I told you about. We at the Comedy Store, there used to be a lot of Royal Rumbles that we used to have up there, and that's why Carlos Mencia and Joe Rogan, they both got banned for fighting.
Hold on. Explain that for those of us like myself that don't know the details. So Carlos Mencia and Joe Rogan, Comedy Store, give me that setup and tell me why they got banned.
Carlos Mencia had stole Joe Rogan's joke, and one day Joe Rogan was up there, because you never know who's coming in to do a show. So Joe Rogan had came in one day, and he beat Carlos Mencia up. They got into a fight in the Comedy Store, and they got banned for a little bit. But that's really why Joe Rogan really stopped coming, and he's doing his podcast out there in Texas now. He moved behind that Carlos Mencia thing. But it's a many things goes on about a lot of comedians used to do it. In the 90s, they used to do it, but there was repercussions back then. Now it's just hearsay. So it's a part of the business, and you just got to keep on going. Like I said, my jokes have been stolen. It's just part of the business. People do it because they're too lazy to think of something And as a matter of fact, I was with this dude. He was saying he was Eddie Murphy's son, and I used to get him on a lot of shows. He was lying, but he stole one of my buddy's jokes, and my buddy had did this on BET. He's one of the people in Cleveland who did Comic View the most. But he stole his jokes. I said, "Hey man, that's my man joke." He said, "No, it ain't. That's my joke." I said, "Dude, that's my dude. Did that 15 years ago on BET." He said, "Well, he's not here now." So it's just a part of the business.
Wow. So he said he's not here now.
Yeah, he said that. At the show, we was doing a show with the guy from the Temptations, Cornelius Grant, and I said, so I knew, and he only been doing comedy for about 5 or 10 years, so he watched old tapes and stole it. I guess he figured nobody from that show was here.
Yeah. How do you guys feel about Kevin Hart? Kevin Hart is known for having his team, the Plastic Cup Boys. Much like Kanye West has a team of writers. Now we know that Kanye can write his own rhymes. He's written his own rhymes before. We also know that Kanye also has a team of writers that does help him and give him hotlines and help him get out of writer's block and things like that. How we feel about and this is for anybody that wants to answer. How do we feel about people that write their own stuff with no help, like Rakim, like KRS-One, like all the other greats, Big Daddy Kane, write their own stuff. LL. How do you feel about people that write their own stuff versus people that are alleged to have a team of writers, such as, and I'm gonna throw out names. We already know producers like Dr. Dre don't write, so I'm not really blaming him for not writing. He's a producer, but people get levied for saying, oh, they got ghostwriters like Dre, like Diddy, like Drake, who's known to be having hotlines, and he is a rapper. He's not a producer. He's not a DJ. Drake's an actual rapper, and they're saying, oh, he has people writing lines for him. They said people wrote stuff for Cardi B. They say that people help write stuff for Kanye. Even though Kanye is one of the best at what he does, I don't think it takes away from him if he has writers because he is a producer just like Dre and them. But does it take away from Kevin Hart or other comedians if they write by committee?
No, it don't.
Kev first. Go ahead, Kev.
It's what Steve said. There was a time where you would get beat down for taking somebody's material. Today's culture, plagiarism, and like in college, you would get kicked out of college. Plagiarism was a huge infraction. So, I remember the story, Michael Collier, who's a well-known comedian, and he's a beast. He said Keenan Wayans stepped to him at a comedy club in the late 80s and told him he was going to personally whoop his ass because he was saying his joke. Like, how you tell your jokes is how you feed your family and feed yourself. It is a serious thing, and it should always be held that way. It's not now. The younger generations have ushered in borrowing and taking and using this, that, and the third, and it's more acceptable. There was a time, even in hip hop, when we grew up in an era where MCs, will call you out on being like I said, a sucker MC. That was the equivalent of be calling I could say the words, but on this platform, I'm gonna censor myself. But you can be called some real foul words for taking somebody's material. With that being said, Rakim didn't write his verse for the song "Addicted" that he did with Truth Hurts. So
who wrote that? Do you know?
He talks about somebody else wrote it, and he was cool because Dre was trying to take him artistically in a different direction, and Rakim said, I didn't feel comfortable with that because, that's not how I flow. Again, Paul Mooney has written jokes for Richard Pryor. Keenan and Robert Townsend wrote jokes on Raw for Eddie Murphy. It's not a bad thing. When you're collaborating with people, it's not a bad thing because you have 3 or 4 people in a room. Steve could tell me, yo, Kev, that joke is dope, but try this way. There's nothing wrong with that. Give Steve his credit. Compensate Steve for what he did, say contributing writers. If you look at Raw, it says Robert Townsend and Keenan. He gives them their credit and he paid them. Acknowledge people, for what they're doing. Don't act like you did it by yourself and everything will be okay. Feed everybody. But back then, like I said, Paul Mooney, Richard Pryor collaborated on a lot of stuff.
So let me ask Steve. And Retro, let me bring you in on this too. Let's talk about that. So, okay, a person doesn't write their own stuff; they write by committee. We said that Eddie Murphy gave credit to Robert Townsend and Keenan Ivory Ravens. I remember seeing Keenan Ivory Wayans and Robert Townsend in the credits of Raw. I remember that. Okay. But what if you don't give credit? Retro. What if somebody, let me go to Retro right quick. What if somebody is writing by committee or building a collage or building a colorway or doing all this stuff by committee, but they don't give credit? You know, we get into the whole idea of plagiarism and like stealing and not really giving credit. Does that affect the quality of the product, or does that affect the quality of the person? Because I do think sampling and pulling things together to create something new, taking from the old and making a new, I think that's dope. But does it take away if the person doesn't give credit to the sources, Retro?
Oh, facts. I think so, definitely, man. You don't give the people the credit that actually helped you build your brand or come up with the idea behind the scenes. I mean, and let's be serious. At the end of the day, you know your team. We talking about jokes. You know, if it's somebody joke, he let you borrow it, and he might don't want to be in the limelight like that. So, man, you don't give him. He might don't want the credit. You know, they were saying Katt Williams was giving, you know, certain people money. Give that person money in that way. But yeah, definitely give him the credit. Give him the just due. Don't put on like you just doing it yourself, man. I'm like what my boy Kev was saying, man. You know, let other people eat as well, man. You know, let other people eat.
That's a fact. That's a fact. And I was gonna say, you know, we have a black professor, a black dean of Harvard, the first black dean of Harvard. I can look her up and find her name. I don't have her name. It escapes me right now. She was just forced to resign. She was forced to resign, or chose to resign, for two reasons. One was they went to Capitol Hill because there were some protests that were happening on Harvard's campus, and they said the protests were anti-Semitic. And Congress asked her, "Is it against Harvard's code of conduct for anti-Semitic protests to go on?" And she said it depends on context. And because she said it depends, they went in on her. And then, what you mean it depends? What do you mean it depends? They went in on her. They and her point was, if the protest is nonviolent, and she had like some stipulations around what is the protest about. And it sounded like to me, being a black man in America, she was fighting for Harvard students' rights to protest. She wasn't necessarily being anti-Semitic. But because she took that soft stance, Congress and other people criticized her, and they went in on her and said, "Hey, you're the dean of a school. You cannot tolerate any sort of hate speech. So therefore, regardless of your personal opinions around the right to protest, when we talking about hate speech, you need to take a hard stance." And they got her on that. That was the first thing. And then they dug into her history, and they said, "And we think you've plagiarized in your dissertation 20 years ago. And we think you didn't cite sources." Going back to citing sources, y'all, right? They made her and put so much heat on her, y'all, that they caused this sister, the first black dean of Harvard, to say, "You know what, just for the sake of the school and the reputation of the school, I'm going to resign." Because not only are you calling me anti-Semitic, now you're saying I'm stealing stuff and I plagiarized. And she wasn't the only person that was forced to resign over the comments in Congress. It was a white dean from another university, another female. I don't know her name because I didn't look that up, but she was forced to resign. So they got them on being anti-Semitic, but it's just funny how when they dug into the sister's past, they want to say she also was unoriginal and plagiarized. Now, that was a long path to get back to this. If you don't give credit, it could harm your rep as a creator. That's what I was getting at.
It's basically plagiarism. Like, if you ain't giving them people that credit, or that's like you turning a report. Come on, you know that teacher gonna check that report. Now the internet is checking everybody's report, checking the facts, and you get back at you like y'all saying, far as the joke. And like, once again, anything with life. Steve saying he was he do, you say you knew Katt Williams. Was that correct, Steve? Or you?
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Steve. You were muted.
I did a few shows with Katt. Most of the people I opened up for Cedric Entertainment 23 years ago, back in 2000. Okay. Brother Mike, I've worked with a bunch of people. So that's just what happened.
Got you.
Oh, but real quick, you know what I wanted to say too? You can't be mad at if they don't give them credit. It's not stealing if there's somebody write a joke for you. They just, don't deal with that person again, but they wrote the joke for them. So it's not plagiarizing. The joke was wrote for them. That's different if I wrote a joke for me and then Dave says it on stage and act like it was him. That's different. If Dave helped me write a joke and it would be nice if I compensate him. But if I don't, Dave wrote the joke for me. Like when Paul Mooney would write jokes for Richard, he wrote it with Richard's mind for Richard. He didn't
Take
steal
that
it.
take that a step at a time, Steve. I heard you, but back it up for those of us that were slightly distracted. You said it's different if a comedian writes for someone else versus if can you repeat that scenario? I want to make sure I'm following.
It's different if a comedian writes for someone, he's writing for that person. He's saying this joke would sound good if you said it. But if Richard Pryor wrote a joke and then Paul Mooney stole the joke, that's different because that was without. It's almost like having sexual relations with a girl. If you ask her, it's okay, but you can't just do it without her approval. You see what I mean? It's the same thing. And so, but this is a very sensitive day, and you know, it happens. I got a buddy who used to write for Katt Williams. He wrote for a lot of people. He wrote some stuff for me before. Hope Flood. He used to write for a lot of people. Katt. So that's not. People have writers, especially when you have more things on your plate to deal with besides just comedy. You have movies, and so that's why they have writers and things like that, because you don't want to stop being funny. Your time runs out. But stealing is different than and not saying it's just not as bad if you don't pay somebody for writing for you as it is if you steal it, because you have to have an understanding. Maybe they're just helping you to build their reputation up or whatever, but it's a totally different thing if you steal it. That's the worst thing you can be as a thief.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I would agree with that. I want to play a clip. We're getting into the whole plagiarism side, which is a good discussion. I want to circle back to a different part of one of Katt's comments, which is basically that, look, I'm not going to get into the conspiracy theory side of it, but I will talk about the facts. Katt Williams alluded to the fact that Black men have to wear a dress to be successful in Hollywood. This is something that they've said many times in conspiracy theory circles. They've said it all over the internet. We've all heard it. We've all heard it. I've seen some interesting and compelling TikToks and YouTube videos about it, right? And without going into conjecture and rumor, I'm going to deal with facts. Okay, let's deal with this fact right here. I want you guys to watch this clip, which you guys have seen before, but as soon as you see it, you will remember this clip. And this came from one of the greats himself. Let's see. Hold on. Boom. This came from one of the greats himself, and I'm going to play this and let you guys check this out.
I mean, I'm a conspiracy theorist to a degree. Like when I connect dots that maybe shouldn't be connected, I don't know. Certain dots, like when I see that they put every black man in the movies in a dress at some point in their career, I'll be connecting them down like, wow, these brothers don't wear a dress. This happened to me. I'm doing a movie with Martin. The movie's going good. So I walk in the trailer. I'm like, man, this must be the wrong trailer because there's a dress in here. They come in. The writer comes in. I think he's the writer. He's like, Dave, listen, we got this hilarious scene where Martin's sneaking out of jail. So he disguises you as a prostitute. And he put this dress on. And what? A prostitute? No, I'm not doing that. I don't feel comfortable with that. That should have been in the discussion. What? You don't feel comfortable with it? I mean, it's a hilarious bit. All the greats have done it. So, well, if all the greats have done it, it's kind of hacky, right? You're right. So why don't we just not do it? Because I don't feel comfortable wearing a dress. Oh, come on, Dave. Listen, we got it all set up. We're supposed to shoot. Every minute you waste costs this much money. The pressure comes in. He said, I'm not wearing no dress, man. I'm funnier than a dress. Just give me something funny to say. I don't need to wear no dress to be funny. Am I Milton Berle? We're going like this. And then finally he's like, and he leaves. And then like the director comes, Dave, it really would be great if you wear the dress. What is wrong? What is this, Brokeback Mountain in here? So then, wear the dress. I don't want to wear the dress. I want to wear this dress. You know what I mean? Oh, gosh, it's so difficult. They leave. Now the producers comes, come on, David would be so great. I mean, and then I started thinking about it. All the comics that I've seen, man, strong brothers, why they be putting us in these dresses? But the minute it was clear, I was adamant, I'm not wearing a dress. I'm not wearing the dress. All right, fine. Think of something else. That comes back 10 minutes later, the whole new scene. Hot damn, how did you write the scene so fast? It's like, so you gotta take a stand.
All right. So there's a big discussion. I mean, look, that site went on to show more and more clips of Big Mama's house, white chicks. These are all clips of people that wore dresses. Men on films. Jamie Foxx and Wanda. These are all discussions that happen. Chris Tucker when he played Rod, I believe his name was, in The Fifth Element. You know what I mean? So the question is,
Dang.
hey, do brothers have to be emasculated in order to make it in Hollywood? Let's just go with your personal opinion. Steve, I'm coming to you last. Let's go personal opinion. Let's go, Kev. Do black men have to be emasculated? And the key word is must. Is it like it has to happen in order for you to make it in Hollywood?
Some of my favorite comics have worn dresses in films and television shows, and nobody has questioned their sexuality or any of that. Eddie Murphy and Norbit.
Okay.
Martin Lawrence doing Shanae and Big Mama. Flip Wilson doing Geraldine. And in all those scenarios, even as you talk about the circulation of comedians talking about that, nobody has mentioned any of those comedians and questioned their manhood or anything, especially even in the black community, even as far as black comics go. Everybody know that, Eddie Murphy is a ladies man. He got damn near 12, 15 kids. You know what I'm saying? Nobody ever questioned that. They know he's funny. They know Martin Lawrence is funny. They know Flip Wilson was funny. So it's perspective. But I also do believe the other side of that is that Hollywood has an infatuation with making a black man put on a dress. So it just depends on what side of this that you stand on and why. For me, I'm never putting no dress on. I don't give a damn what the role is, what the character is. I'm just not. I don't care if it's Saturday Night Live. I don't care if it's a movie. I don't care if it's an Oscar-winning performance that can launch my career. It's my stance on it. What works for somebody else is not. You know what I mean? It's that thing. It's subjective. For me, it's just what it is.
You had me scared for a second there, bro. I was like, I hope my boy, because I was gonna ask both of y'all. I was like, have they ever tried y'all with putting on a dress? Or would you put on a dress to somebody give you $50 million? What you do is being a comedian. You saying off the gate, no.
Never. Because it's legacy, it's integrity in the world we live in now with receipts. But I'll say this. I have been hit on by a gay casting director, and that's a scary place to be in because, it can affect your career and all of that stuff. So all of this stuff is a real thing. And you just have to know where you are within yourself, the people that are around you that will tell you, like, even for me, my son threatened to beat me up if I ever played, or put on a dress, just to give some lightness to it. My son was like, Pops, I'm gonna fight you respectfully. So, it just depends on the individuals and things of that nature. Like my OG Steve right here, Steve has been in it for a minute,
Yeah.
Steve has his own stance and what
Steve got a story.
Yeah, and he could tell you things that he saw before I even got to LA, and he knows what went down behind the veil and all of that stuff, even the things I've experienced. But that's just my take on it. Like, I'll just say, to each his own. But just as far as Kevin is concerned, I believe I have enough talent that can carry me, that I don't have to be compromised or do anything that later that I'll be remorseful for. Because here's the thing. The world and Hollywood will not forget. The moment you make that infraction,
and that's where I'm at with it. That's where I'm at with it. Like
you'll spend that money.
I'm not forgetting. Because like the people you calling out, like Wayne's like, bro, come on, bro. I really think if they didn't put them dresses on, they would not be in the position they in now. Me personally, as far as how they moved in Hollywood, the money, you rarely hear about them in the news. Y'all can call it a ritual or whatever people want to call it, but it's something to that, bro. Dave Chappelle ain't crazy. You see how Oprah was looking at him when he was saying it? Oprah was like, "Yo, shut up. Don't
Yeah, I did notice how quiet Oprah was. She was
Oprah
very
was looking
quiet.
like, are you really like? Cause she, like, I just feel like, you know what I'm saying, bro? There's no way. It's just no way, bro. No, man, I'm not doing it. I'm not.
Right.
I'm not doing it. I just can't see it.
So look, I want to come to Steve, and Steve, I want you to share. I know a piece of your story, but I want you to share your story, and then we're gonna get into my 2 cents. Go ahead, Steve.
Well, real quick, before I even share that, I want to say the reason why nobody talked about the people back in the day, like Geraldine, for instance, is because when they used to do that, men didn't wear dresses, so they thought it was funny because men don't do this. That's what they did on the Honeymooners. It was funny. Men didn't do that, but now men do this in Hollywood, and this is the propaganda mecca. So if we make it look cool, everybody will do it. Like I never knew men can get pregnant until the year 2000 when they started doing it all of a sudden. But I'll tell you this, every Sunday at the Comedy Store back in 99, 98, 2000, we'd have producers and cast directors come every Sunday to look for talent. That's how I did a TV show called Comic Survivor for Comedians. They booked all the comedians in the Comedy Store back in the year 2000. But around that time, one of the producers of that, they came and said, look, man, we got a great movie for you. Come sign a contract. I went to go sign a contract. I see him in Beverly Hills. I go to sign a contract. It was a big, long, round table. And there's a bunch of producers there. They said, man, you're going to love this guy. Because I was the spokesman for K-Swiss commercial and Finish Line, one of those shoe store commercials. And so it was on during all the playoffs of the NBA, the Lakers. And they said, man, you're going to love this guy, Steve. And Steve, read that. You're going to watch this. You're going to love this guy. So I look at the script before I sign the contract. Oh no, man, you got something for like a janitor or something? Said, no, you're gonna put your spin on it. And so I said, man, I can't, I'm from Cleveland. My father said, but your father's not here. We was in that room maybe about 45 minutes. I said, well, I can't do it. I had the script for about 6 years and I turned it down. But there's always somebody who do what you won't do. They discovered a guy named Jake Gyllenhaal. It's for a movie called Brokeback Mountain. And I mean, that was supposed to be for me, but I come from Cleveland, man. I like to sit down regularly without the stuff falling out when I stand up. So it's just a different way. But now it's a trend, man. I never thought I'd see a day like this. But the reason why a lot of people do it is because people don't believe in putting the work in. They want to get the microwave effect. I go to Hollywood, 6 months later, I do a movie, and they don't want to put all the work in. The people who do that, I guess they don't have enough faith in their talent. So they say, this is the way I'll be famous. And people do anything. I mean, like I said, man, and I found myself a little off the subject in a casting director position one time, because what I do to give back to community, so I would never be that person. I like to go out and, sleep with older homeless women. And I tell them, after we finish having relations, I mean, you have to get up and go walk in the cold again. So you better have relations slow. And those are the people, they have that same kind of mentality, and people just do what they want to do. It's crazy, but you have to stay who you are. And I'm glad I've stayed solid. I can sit down properly now.
So Steve, you crazy. Hey, so Steve, you make a good point though. You make a good point real quick. You make a good point that, I saw a discussion about men wearing drag back in the Shakespeare days and, in theater days. And what they were saying was back in the day, women didn't do theater. Either they weren't allowed or they just didn't do theater. So if there was a female role, and we're talking about 120 years ago, men would play the parts, right? And like you said, it was funny because it was in drag. Geraldine, Flip Wilson, no one questioned his sexuality because it was a gag, right? Now in today's world, with all of the different genders and the different identities and the different preferences, now it's not necessarily a gag anymore. You in fact, you get in trouble for laughing at people and calling them manly feminine and things like that. So I don't know if there's a ritual in Hollywood, but I will say this, going back to what Retro said, it does seem like a lot of black men are either asked or choose to put on a dress for various reasons. For instance, there's a clip of Kevin Hart saying, "Nah, I ain't never put on no dress. I haven't
And he
been a
wore it,
dress."
and he got it on.
Yeah, he said, "I haven't really had to do nothing like that. I ain't thought about that." And then all of a sudden, a year later, he does a sketch on Saturday Night Live where he's wearing a princess dress. And if I'm being honest, y'all, when I watched that skit, it came out of nowhere. I was like,
it's like it didn't have no continuity.
no continuity, no context, Kev. It wasn't even really that funny. I was like, why do you got him in a princess dress
Little Miss Sunshine.
out the
Never
blue?
forget that. They had him as Little Miss Sunshine. Yep. And so yeah, those moments, OG Steve can talk about. He knows more than I do, but at the same time, I set your price. Set your price going in the door and stand by it, and that's the thing. I remember I did a reality show, and the whole reality show, I signed a contract that was the size of a dictionary book. And they were trying their best to get me to get into a jacuzzi at this dude ranch, and you could tell, and they told me that, they had shot tons of adult scenes there and all this, and I was like, I'm not getting in that nasty ass jacuzzi and getting naked. My son is gonna see this show. My mother is watching. I'm like, no. They pressed my line for about 3 hours, so that stuff is real. They like, Kevin, it'll be great. And I was like, no, so they labeled me as a teddy bear. They put the little thing on me with the ears, and it was a teddy bear. I was like, I go with that, but what you're not gonna see is me naked, because and it wasn't, for me, again, it was against my fear is people being able to pull up something and that thing of that nature. You got to be careful, because you'll never be able to live that down. Like I said earlier, you spend the check be gone, but nobody will never let you live down that thing. And I'm done with this one. Steve Harvey told y'all who he was. He said, if they offer me money to be a monkey, I'll be the biggest monkey in the world. And they pulled that thing up. So,
Yeah, they
Steve
did.
told you who he was, and now he's showing you who he was. Steve said this, and I'm gonna leave it on this, Steve. I respect you and I appreciate you so much, because you're way before me, OG. We turn a blind eye to people that do things that we know morally is wrong because they got the bag. And we'll say, man, well, that nigga paid. She paid. He paid. Look at what they did to get that bag. And I'll end on this beautiful day the Lord has made. What does it profit a man to gain the world and lose his soul? So you got to know what your price is for what you're doing. And dare I even say, I'll be challenged and questioned one day and propositioned, and I just pray to have the strength and the integrity, the character, because
Hey, Kenny, come to YouTube. Oh, I'm sorry, you guys. I was talking to the Instagram people. Go ahead, Kevo.
No, I'm just gonna say, you got to set your line for yourself. And even in the street, we knew all money wasn't good money when we was in the street. It's the same rules everywhere. Somebody offer you a role, you got to say for yourself, is it worth what's coming with that? Can I live with the blowback? Can I live with the criticism, the judgment, and all of those things? And I just believe Steve Harvey made it evident a long time ago that he wanted to be one of the biggest stars and get all of that money by any means necessary.
Okay.
So
before you go, and I see everybody shaking their head, people got comments. Before you go, Katt Williams basically said something
I kept my
similar.
booty hole intact.
Bruh. Listen to me. Katt, okay, so we're getting back to the whole topic. Did Katt Williams expose the truth in comedy? Now, I know he shared his truth. I know he
Ruffled some
shared
feathers,
things.
that's for damn sure.
Yeah, he definitely ruffled feathers. He saw things from the Katt Williams lens and perspective, right? My question is, and this is for anyone that wants to answer. Let me ask Steve and Retro. Did Katt Williams, in telling his truth and in saying what he said about Steve, and saying what he said about Sid, and what he said about Ricky Smiley, and what he said about Kevin, and what he said about Tiffany Haddish, and what he said about Faison Love, I mean, he went in. Did he sensationalize? Did he do it for the gram? Or was that man really telling us some things that we just don't see because we're not behind the scenes? In other words, was there truth in his truth? Steve, let's go to Steve. Was there truth in his?
I'm going to say, from the things I heard, it absolutely was truth in that truth, because I know, like I said, we said about Tiffany Haddish not being at the Comedy Store, it was true. There was only a few of us, a handful of us at the Comedy Store back then. But also, let me say this: could I say, Dave Life and his mom flew the Delta Airlines, and they crashed that airlines and killed everybody on the plane.
No,
They killed everybody.
no.
Why couldn't I say that?
Because I'm sitting right here. First of all, second of all, you ain't got no evidence that I did it, and third of all,
Look, I couldn't say that because you're sitting right here. So if Dave Life killed everybody on the airplane, Dave Life wouldn't be here. There's proof. If there was no proof, he wouldn't be able to say that. And the things I've heard, there is valid proof. Now, a lot of people they'll believe whoever they like the most, which is fine. But there's proof in what he's saying. There's validity. So hey, whatever you want to believe, I'm all for it. This is a world where everybody can believe what they want to believe. The land of the free. But I'll tell you this: if you don't do something, people can say it because that lie will fall apart and crumble. And that's just no matter how you feel, it's just how it is. This is a business, and that's why if you don't want nobody to know that you're one of those guys, then you shouldn't do what those guys do. Because people never forget, and bad news travels faster than good news. That's why I didn't take because I like when my man Kev said his son, like what if when I have a son, my son, that stuff never goes away, especially in the times you don't need to be there. So I never do nothing that I won't want to look back and say, hey, that was me. That's facts.
Steve, you said something very important. Bad news travels faster than good news. Now, I want to ask everybody, especially Retro, because Retro, you got on YouTube before me. You started using the gram before me. You kind of got out here in this content space before me. Why did Katt Williams interview get up to 30 million views? Now, let me just, before you answer, the first 9 hours I was watching, it only been out 9 hours. He had 2 million views. By the first 24 hours, he had 18 million views. Then you get into the third day, he has 27 million views. Now he's probably up to 30. I think he was up to 30 last night. And according to Ocho Cinco and Shannon Sharp themselves on their podcast Nightcap, shout out to them. Shannon said the highest rated interview, the highest viewed interview of all time is Joe Rogan interviewing Bob Lazar about Area 51 UFOs. It had 56 million views. So it's Joe Rogan interviewing Bob Lazar. The second highest numbered interview, not music, but interview, was Joe Rogan interviewing Elon Musk. It had 36 million views or 32 million views. So 56 million, 32 million. The third highest was Katt Williams and Shannon Sharp, 30 million views. Now, the Joe Rogan interview got 56 million views over the course of 4 years. Katt Williams and Shannon Sharp got 30 million views over the course of 3 days. So if they stay on that path, they will become the biggest watched interview streamed of all time on YouTube, which is, it's incredible. So my question is this, Steve: bad news travels faster than good news. Retro, same thing. I think, in fact, let's go to Retro and then go to Steve. Why did Katt Williams? Why is he so riveting? Why is that interview going so hard? Why does everybody care? Retro, people that don't even know who the hell Katt is. Why was it because it was incendiary? Was it because they think it's bad news, or was it because it was some truth? Why did it pop like that, Retro?
I think because he gave everybody homework to do. He had everybody checking facts, and people nosy, and people want to get on the internet and check and fact check everything he said. So now, not only did I think did a good job, Shannon did a good job by letting them talk. He let them talk for 30 minutes before they knew that was going to pop. So you got to think about it, bro. You interviewing somebody, sometimes you just got to sit back and just let them do them and don't say nothing. Because they're going to expose themselves more. Not even expose, because I don't think he was trying to expose. I feel like you'll open up more. You know what I'm saying? For like a phone conversation. When he sat down with he just let it have it. I think he kind of came in, like they said, with that, he gonna let everybody get it. And I think Shannon knew it. I think everybody knew it. When I watched it, I was like 4 hours watching. I think I was in the comments when it aired. And I said to myself, damn, they had 5 million. And I've been doing it, like you said, man, they had 10 million. But They're gonna break everything you're talking about, bro, and they deserve it. It was epic. I just think, as once again, people are nosy. He put out a lot of names. He made you think, so people are checking and they want to. And then, like I say, the stuff is being true. So if it's being true, it's like even more like that. It ain't about who you rocking with. It's just a fact check to him. Like Steve said, everything so far he been saying, man, it's been true. I'm sure he embellished or something. What he say? He run the 4.3. Well, I ain't gonna say that because they put a video out that Katt Williams do run fast, bro. I mean, they showing him actually moving. So, bro, I ain't no telling, bro. But maybe that reading since 3 years old, all them books, yeah, he gonna pipe his stuff, but entertainment at the end of the day, and that's why I hit entertainment.
Yeah, that was pretty incredible. Steve, why do you think it popped off? You made a great point too, Retro. Just he gave people homework to do.
Homework.
And when you make people think,
TikTok,
that's
on
yeah.
every platform looking for old videos, like he say, for the old Katt Williams videos, the Cedric the Entertainer videos. He brought in Mark Curry. See, I've been knew that about Mark Curry. I was waiting for one of y'all to bring that up. I've been heard Steve Harvey stole jokes from Mark Curry, from back in the day. I don't know if Steve can elaborate on this, but I mean, OG, am I wrong? I've been hearing this stuff about Mark Curry.
You're right.
Steve Harvey stealing his jokes from Mark Curry.
And I heard that too, and that's funny because Mark was on the show, my Coming to the Stage show that we did. That was the #1 show in 2003. But so I've heard the same exact thing, and that's a known fact that he would Steve would go up to the set with Mark, and before you know it, his show came out. So it's just part of the business. But remember, bad news travels faster than good news. And I prove that point. In the '90s, you before your time, y'all don't know about the '90s, but in the '90s. All the rappers, I'm Trump type. Everybody like Donald Trump. He took pictures with all the rappers and everything. But in the 2000s, they said Donald Trump was a racist all of a sudden when he beat Hillary Clinton. And everybody believed it because bad news travels faster than good news. That's the proof. Donald Trump put $90,000 into my business because I'm black. Bad news travels faster than good news. People forgot all that stuff. They forgot that Donald Trump is the only president with 6 NAACP awards for most money donated to historical black universities. But racism is a big thing, and people it travels fast.
It does. Now, let's not to make it a political show, but let me play the other side of that coin. The other side of the coin is that Trump understands controversy. Prince had a song called Controversy. He said, "Am I black or white? Am I straight or gay?" Controversy. Controversy sells was the point of that song. Trump knew controversy sells. So I was a Trump fan before he got in office. I was like, oh, he cool. Everybody want to be like Donald Trump. I wanted to be on The Apprentice. I wanted to build buildings like Trump, right? Like Trump. Everything was interesting. And then when he got in office and he started, I'll say, being controversial, Steve, he definitely ruffled feathers and became more popular and got a lot more done through the controversy. But let's not make it a political show. So Kenny Kincaid in the house. What up, Kenny? What up, Yin Yang Didi? Everybody that's in the comments. Thanks for joining. Make sure you guys subscribe. Go to the homepage, hit subscribe while you're watching this. And then I do see that TayRob is trying to join. So Tay, hit the link and try to join. All right, Kev, I know that you're about to roll out. Is there anything you want to share with us, Kev, in closing before you head out?
Absolutely. I would say the same thing about Katt Williams, just like Trump. Or, just in the vein of Katt knows exactly what he's saying and what he's doing. This man is intelligent, very intelligent, so, he used an opportunity to do 2 things. And he's always been consistent in that. If he gets bored or for whatever reasons he felt compelled to do it, he knows how to stir the pot really well. This isn't the first time he's come out and it just, people don't know that, but like again, he's been coming at Kevin Hart's neck for a minute, even before the pandemic. He challenged Kevin Hart too, but now the internet is starting to catch up. But he challenged Kevin Hart to a game of basketball or joke telling or this, that, and the third while he was at the airport about to hop on a private jet. So, one thing I can say about Katt has always been consistent and everything that he's done. And he's very funny. He's entertaining. I don't care what nobody say. It was hilarious to watch that dude. I cried and hollered throughout that whole thing because he knows he's very impressionable. But he also showed he has restraint and self-control. I watched the interview when he's on Larry King. He's so much more milder and mellow. He was on Shay Show. He knew his surroundings. He knew he could cut up. He knew that he would get and they probably even had a pre-production, conversation that said, "All right, I'm gonna just let you, I'm gonna just let you do you," and that's probably what happened. So I'll say that, behind that, Katt has learned how to, like 50 Cent, use his celebrity and his platform for whatever he wants to. He's aware of his power. I'll say that.
Okay. All right. Hey, welcome to the stage, TayRob. What's up, Tay?
Hey, how are you?
I'm good. How you doing? So,
I'm good.
make sure all of the guests that are on YouTube, make sure you turn your phones horizontal. So, Tay, if you could shift it to the horizontal instead of the vertical, you know what I mean? Like lay it on the side, and that way,
Interesting.
yeah.
Let's see if we can do that.
Okay, there you go. See how I filled up the screen?
Well, there we go.
That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. All right. Hey, I think the microphone fiend had to drop. You're spinning, Kev. So I appreciate you for joining. Microphone fiend, Kev. I'm going to remove you because I'm seeing you spinning. All right. Hey, Kev, I appreciate you. You're still in the green room, Kev. So if you want to come to the stage, man, just let me know. I can see you. Hey, so TayRob, we are discussing. Everyone, I'll take a moment. Everyone that's on Instagram, come on over to YouTube. Go to YouTube, type in DaveLifeTV, all one word, and then go to the live tab, and you can watch the show. So shout out to Vibe Sinatra and everyone else that's over there on Instagram. Come on over to YouTube. All right, so we're discussing Katt Williams. I want to play another clip, you guys. We're discussing the impact of Katt Williams' interview, and we're saying, did he expose the truth in comedy? A lot's been said. Steve Turner is a comedian. Retro is a content creator in shoe culture. And then TayRob, what do I say other than being a Christian? What do I say is your title, Tay? What's your claim to fame?
I have so many. I am an empowerment speaker, life strategies coach, author, and all around lover of humanity and social worker.
Got it. And what is your Instagram? Is it at
TayRob 0512.
0512. Okay, cool. Hey, can I call you a life coach?
You can.
Look, watch this. Bam, life coach TayRob. Look at that. Boom. All right. So we're gonna play a clip right quick, and I'm gonna let you guys react to it. Steve, did you have something you wanted to add before we jump back into the Shannon Sharp and Katt Williams discussion? Hold on. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Steve. I had you on mute. Go ahead, Steve. My bad. Now he mutes himself. This guy.
It's going good, man, and everybody is saying some good stuff, so I'm all for it.
Okay.
Oh, and real quick, remember about the guy I told you that you don't like? I said, man, he's the smartest man in history because that guy created propaganda, and you're seeing the effects of it.
Right, and we're not gonna talk about him.
I'm not gonna say no. We're not gonna talk about it. You hate him.
Right. We're not gonna get. Me and Steve be having some lively conversations offline. All right. This next clip here. Let me see. Man, Katt says so many things, you guys. Katt says so many things. I'm gonna play this clip because I like this clip. Katt is talking about the things that befall Black comedians, Black actors, Black celebrities in Hollywood. Okay, he's discussing the things that happen, and this is something that we need to talk about. What happened with Jonathan Majors? What happened with Jonathan Majors? Let me share this clip right here. Yeah, this one. All right, you guys, check this out. This is Katt talking about Jonathan Majors.
Don't want to get with a white woman because I was scared she might have me running down the street like Jonathan Majors.
There you go. See, come on, Katt.
Not because I didn't like white women. I think white women are as great as any other women. But I'm not going to act like I'm not scared of them. I have a reason to be scared. You could be Kang the Conqueror, and they could take your rabbit ass down in 2 weekends. And that's the truth of the matter. So I stayed away from that. Hey, you saw that black woman come get his charge cut in half? Thank you, Megan Good. God bless you coming to save that slave. If he'd had to be there by himself, he was getting all four. Guilty. She came in there, was just so beautiful, they had to knock half of it off. Bless his heart. Maybe I'm a conspiracy theory, but I thought Katt Williams said any time they make you into that position, part of that contract is you do understand whenever we want to take you down, we can, right? Part of giving you the world. First of all, they went around the world for 2 years straight telling any women that would listen that this was a good-looking Negro.
Mm-hmm.
Since when? When did y'all start liking a big nose? And when did y'all like a little head and a big jaw? When? Since when? That look like my daddy. When you start liking my daddy? You like black people's features like that? If this ugly nigga is good looking, then all niggas is good looking.
Good Lord.
Anytime you see them telling you something you can't believe, just understand it's a play. And it don't matter. You gonna know it's a play as soon as they get in that position and think they gonna tell somebody something. No, you're not. No, you're not. Marvel will cancel you you won't be allowed to read a comic book. What is you talking about? Get out of here.
Oh my goodness, man. So he said basically when did black features become attractive? He listen, I'm gonna be real, man. Katt is sharing, he's sharing an opinion that might be somewhat unpopular, but he's sharing an opinion. And the opinion is this, is that you're not gonna pee in my face and tell me it's raining. Basically, he's saying, Hollywood, you're not gonna lie to me. We know that black features have been looked down upon for years. They call us animals and monkeys and this, that, and the third. And Jonathan Majors, I remember when he first came out, a lot of them were like, he ain't good looking. He is not good looking. But as soon as he got buffed up for Creed 3 and did the military workout and became super ripped and got on the cover of Ebony magazine with roses, everybody was like, he fine. And I'm like, okay, all right. I'm like, but I thought he was ugly. Right. But now he's got, built, and now he's fine. I did think that was weird. I said, man, I feel like they selling us a bill of goods, because we know good and dang on well that he wasn't looked at as attractive early in his career. Now all of a sudden he's fine. And I felt like that was like they're pushing that upon the audience. I don't know, but I do feel that Katt is speaking to black men have to go through things in order to be accepted in Hollywood. One, sometimes they try to make you wear a dress. Two, you seem to be more accepted when you have a white woman on your arm. Who wants to speak to that? Is that conspiracy, or did Katt Williams expose some level of truth? Steve? Okay, go ahead, Steve.
So I'll say it like this. That's conspiracy. You know why? Because we're not in the 50s. In the 50s, it was much more difficult for black people. But now it's not really about that. I think it's not about white versus black anymore. In this day, whether you like it or not, it's about man versus women. Hollywood would love to see men be the woman and the woman become the man. That's why they're pushing the agenda they're pushing. Because in the 50s and the 30s, when they were in Hollywood, it was about, that's why you didn't really see that many black people enrolled, because there was only 5 studios that owned Hollywood. And an actor couldn't audition. There's many producers now, but back then, the actors worked for the studio. So you wouldn't see somebody who does movies for Fox working on a movie for Warner Brothers. And you wouldn't see them working for RKO, and they wouldn't work for Paramount. There was only 5 studios, the big 5, and they owned all. So when they say you'll never work in this town again, it's because Warner Brothers will fire you, and then they'll call the other 4 studios and say, don't hire this guy. That's what I mean. Now there's many producers. So you just have to get in, and you play the game to get in. So a lot, like I said, that's why I said, knowing what I know, it's all about the lazy people they don't want to deal with the uphill climb about making it in Hollywood. But you can do it. I came here with $200 and I do 12 movies and TV shows a year.
Sorry, I was on mute. I said, okay, TayRob, What do you think? Is there some sort of a conspiracy theory? Or do black men have to do certain things to be successful? Do black people, but we're talking about the men now, have to do certain things to be successful in Hollywood, like become less threatening, be a little bit more emasculated, wear a dress, date white women? Uh-oh, you're on mute. Can you unmute? Oh, there you go. Go ahead, Tay.
So throughout history in the music and movie industry, for people of color to be implemented and initiated into those circles, you do have to be lessened and diminished. It's not necessarily the way things have to be overall now, but especially black men, you're threatening by nature. So in order to level the playing field for those who have to work with you, we're automatically, just by our stature, by our natural build, by the way we present. If you're buff and you're big, you're brawny, you're considered threatening. Yeah, if you're confident and boisterous, you're considered aggressive. So I think to dumb them down, to make them more subservient, even, yeah, you do. We need to know that if this situation gets out of hand, we can control it, and therefore we put things into place so that if we have to take those measures, they're easily accessible to us. The narrative for interracial dating is everywhere. You can't even watch a commercial now where you see that narrative pushed. And coming from a time where you would be killed as a black man for even looking at a woman who was Anglo-Saxon, you have to ask yourself why. Part of it is bloodline. I am a self-professed conspiracy theorist. I like rabbit holes. I'll jump down I'll chase that rabbit down the deepest hole, because they're interesting. They always reveal so much underneath the surface. Nevertheless, I think that with Jonathan Majors, Katt Williams didn't say anything no one else didn't have an idea about. He just had a larger platform, and he said it out loud. He's the person of the moment. He's the person that every eye is on. Last time I looked, it had 21 million views. You're just the man of the moment. You're the person that this system has deemed the truth teller. Yet, if we really investigate certain things, there are things even with him that if you look up, well, there are questionable things about symbolic things that he's been photographed doing and spaces he's been in that make you question how he's gotten where he is as well. Yeah,
I don't want to get too deep into the conspiracy realm, just because it could lead us down a rabbit hole. But Retro, do you feel that that there's some truth? Did Katt Williams expose some truth when it comes to, he said he avoided dating white women because he didn't want to end up like Jonathan Majors? Basically, Katt keeps saying, if they put you in a position, they can snatch the rug out from up under you. If they made you, they could break you. So is there some truth you feel that, being with a white woman in Hollywood as a black man can help you rise, but can also backfire?
I think there is some truth to it. I think he did expose it. I think he did. I mean, come on. Go ahead.
Hold on. Go ahead, Retro. What you want to say, Retro?
No, that's about right, man. It's like they got paperwork on you. So any given time, I mean, point taken. Like, I guess his charges, I didn't think he was gonna be found guilty. I guess I'm gonna say guilty, but I didn't think he was gonna get all those charges, and I think he got it is because he's white. And as well as maybe it's like you say, they probably found another Marvel character. We don't know. It's probably like, yo, listen, it's our way from taking you down without nobody knowing. Like, we ain't paying you no more. We got somebody else to do this. You ain't finna play Apollo 4, 5, and 6. We're gonna get somebody else. We don't know what happened. And once again, man, they do, man. I really think they do. Cause them charges, to me, I don't think he should have got, what's happening to him. But once again, they got paperwork on you. If something happened behind the scenes, we don't know what's going on.
The problem with Jonathan Majors is there were many witnesses that came out and said he had done things prior. They said not only was he a jerk and a butthole, to say the word nicely, on set. They said he was a jerk and a butthole, or a-hole on set. They also said that there were women that came up from his past that said he had been abusive towards them. All right. And so now I personally feel, after covering that case and looking at all the information, I think the two pieces of damning evidence that could have convinced the jury is, number one, he did pick her up and forcefully put her back in the van. And when he did that, she hit her head. So he's on tape picking her up and putting her back in the van. All right. Now, the converse is she's on tape punching and, chasing and grabbing at him and chasing him for 4 blocks. So he did something. She did something. I heard one lawyer say they harassed each other. They could have canceled both of those charges because they both could have been charged with assault. I found it very interesting that the New York district attorney, who happens to be a black man, who happens to be the first black DA of New York, I don't want to say his name wrong, so I'm not going to quote the name wrong, but I find it interesting that he decided to not press charges on the white woman, but to allow the charges to stay on the black man. Misdemeanor charges that don't usually go to trial, Retro. They don't usually go to trial.
That's
but
why
black
something behind scenes that happened that we not the powers to be, or whatever you want to call them. That's, it's time for you to step down. And this our way for step. We're gonna get you to step down. And on top of that, we're gonna make sure you ain't finna eat. It's gonna be very hard for you to eat on top of that. Any acting role, anything that's coming out. And so I heard you say something about the producers and the people say he was, acting the ass or whatnot, or they knew all this going beforehand.
When they hired him. They knew this when they hired him.
Before they hired him. So what are we talking about? What are we doing?
So at this point, it's almost like who did he piss off in order for them to press the line that hard?
That's the way I feel. That's the way
because basically they're saying these misdemeanor charges don't normally go to trial. Hey, like, this is abnormal for these to go to trial. Normally,
look at the footage they pulled up. Look how much footage. How many officers they sent around to go put all that footage up with this man running like that, bro?
A lot of footage to catch him running. And on top of that, the second piece of damning evidence was a text message that he sent her from a alleged prior domestic incident in London a year ago. 6 months before this incident. Apparently something happened and Grace was hurt and said, I need to go to the hospital. And he was encouraging her, don't go to the hospital. If you go to the hospital, they're going to investigate. And he basically said, even if you lie, they're going to start asking questions. And that indicated, I don't want you to go because you're going to get me in trouble because I did
get me in my name.
That's basically, and that's basically what he was saying. And so that text evidence proving that he has tried to convince her to not seek medical attention. And in the video image of him pushing her back into the van, I think got him. Now, what got him off on the other 2 charges, in my opinion, was she was chasing him. She was grabbing at him. And he did have to get her off of him twice, and he had to flee. That's harassment and assault right there. Chasing somebody 4 blocks, scratching at him. He had scratches on his arm, even though some of those scratches may have been obtained in her having self-defense against him being the aggressor. The idea is that she's not totally innocent either. So I think that's why 2 charges got dropped, because she was chasing him and attacking him. But I think the other 2 stuck because of the first 2 points that I made. And like you said, Retro, he made somebody mad, and they were like, "Nah, we're not going to give him the keys to the kingdom. We're not going to give him the keys to the kingdom. He's done." But go ahead, Steve. But maybe if he had humbled himself in the process. Now, hear me out. I'm being sarcastic, but it always seems like in Hollywood there is a subculture of, if you get too powerful as a black man, you either have to be non-threatening or you got to somehow humble yourself. And play by the rules. Michael Jackson, right? When he bought the Beatles catalog, he became a problem because now he was making just as much money as an entire corporation, which is Sony. He owned half of the catalog. I see you, Steve, with your hand up. Go ahead, bro.
No, I'm listening. I'm listening to you.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
No, go, Steve.
Real quick, man. The only thing I want to say is you guys got, because I never knew black people and white people could be friends until I went to the West Coast, because we still have Ku Klux Klan marches in Cleveland. We're on the East. We have May Day. That's when black people fight white people. Nobody go to jail that day. And it's every year we do it. And so it's not about black people and white people. They don't even have that many black people in California. In California, it's only LA, Los Angeles County is only 6% black. So it's not about him dating a white girl. You know what it is? Because I brought this girl to Hollywood. I used to, when I was touring with Tonto Metro and Devontae and Beanie Man, brought a girl from Jamaica here. And when she moved here, in Jamaica, they have a drought. That means they cut the water on from 5 a.m. to 6 a.m. every day. Only 1 hour. You got to fill up water buckets. So I brought her here where you can flush a toilet and have a regular life. But she would tell me to get her some eat. If I didn't, she would call the police and say I hit her. Or if she said, man, go do this. If I didn't do it, she'd call the police and say I hit her. So I said, man, I got to go because I was doing a show with J. Anthony Brown. So I go do the show. When I come back to my house, I called the police. I said, let me just call the police, make sure I can go in. Police came and said, here I am, officers. They took me to jail. They said I had a $50,000 felony warrant for hitting her. So by the time they got me to jail, the police were on my side. They said, man, we're so sorry. The reason why it's like this is because of O.J. Simpson, when the O.J. and the Nicole Brown thing. So that's why it's not about white versus black. It's about man versus. That's why they want the men to be the women and the women to be the men. I'm telling you, that's what it's about. It's not about, and I grew up with racism. Like I said, it's not about black versus white. They want to emasculate the man. Period.
So Steve, just for clarity, so we understand your story, you didn't actually hit the girl. She was threatening you with that false charge to try to get you to do what she wanted you to do.
I didn't hit her. She called the police. If I didn't cook for her, I didn't get her to eat, she would call the police. And check this out. When I got out of jail, I was in jail for 2 weeks. While I was in there, I missed the TV show that I was supposed to do. I missed 2 big comedy shows that I was supposed to do, comedy events. And when I got out of jail 2 weeks later, after Thanksgiving time or something, I couldn't even go home. I had to sleep outside in my car. So anyway, she called me one day, said, hey, what you doing? Like everything was normal. She said, I know you're out of jail now. Police called me. You can go back. I'm in New York. When I go back to my house, she stole $500 cash, stole my cell phone, stole my tablet, and she stole like a lot of things that I needed for work. And the police helped her rob me. So I understand it's not about black versus white. It's about man versus woman. And that's a fact. I'm living proof of that.
Mm. You know, that's interesting because one of my homies called me and told me about a friend of his where a female tenant of his accused him of doing something that he didn't do, got a restraining order against him, and now he might not be able to go to his own house.
That's right. That's what they do. And the police officers, by the time they took me to jail, they said, man, we're so sorry, man. I said, I know you're just doing your job. He said, yeah, man, because of what happened with OJ, man. The law is such different. But black people, we have to start really thinking and not just blame the white man, because it was the black girl who took me to jail, and she couldn't even have citizenship. It was really weird. But I tell you, I'm going to start dating midgets. They give you half the time. I'm telling you on them.
If y'all don't know, Steve is a comedian, y'all. So don't mind this man. He's gonna offend everybody. He said he's gonna start dating midgets. All right. So okay, let's go back to Katt, man. Did Katt Williams expose the truth in comedy? I think I might have one more clip that I want us to discuss. Man, it's so many things in this Katt Williams interview. So let me ask Tay, because Tay, I think you missed this part of it. Tay, why do you think it went so viral? Why do you think that this interview? I told everybody this was the third most watched, podcast interview in YouTube history with 30 million views. That was a day ago. It probably passed the number 2 slot, which was 32 million. I got to check, but it might be at 30, more than 32 million. So why do you think it went so viral, Tay? Why do you think it blew up?
Katt Williams has been deemed the truth teller for this time. So I think that he's raged against the machine. He's called out and exposed the Illuminati. He's been the person that has taken the licks and the consequences and come back strong. So he's like the phoenix rising from the ashes, right? It's kind of like when Chris Brown had the whole incident with Rihanna and they went to the whole cancel culture, and they're like, oh, we built you, we can take you down, we made you. But his star power was so big that they could not cancel out Chris Brown. So they had to let him back in. Well, we'll let you back in, but we got to figure out a way to control you. So Katt's the same way. You cannot deny his gifts. You cannot deny his skill. You cannot deny his talent. He packs auditoriums. He doesn't even promote his stuff. And yet he has all 12 specials. He's got packed houses. You can't deny who he is. Not to mention, he's paid the penance for a lot of his going against the machine, right? So everybody sees him as this phoenix. He's standing alone. He's the underdog. He's risen to the occasion. So when he comes out to talk, people expect for there to be some reveal, some truth, some nuggets, something, and you know it's going to be controversial. And when you know that the number one form of communication in the world is gossip, there you go. He lives into it every time.
So I want y'all to take a look at this. Look to the right. 32 million views in 4 days. He is now tied with Joe Rogan as the second most watched podcast interview in YouTube history. That would be, he's tied with Joe Rogan and Elon Musk. And the only other person that can beat him is Joe Rogan and a man named Bob Lazar, who blew the whistle open on Area 51. If you're, you shaking your head, so you know who Bob Lazar is. Area 51 UFO stories. Very interesting. So, wow, that's incredible, man. 32 million views. We've been on the show for an hour and a half. I do want to continue for just a few more minutes here. You know what? Let me just open the floor, man. Anybody want to share anything about the impact of Katt Williams? He said a lot. I know that he talked about Faison Love. I know he talked about Kevin Hart. I know he talked about Steve, Ricky. Even the whole thing with Ricky Smiley. Someone asked me, why was Ricky Smiley crying the other day? I didn't see that clip. I don't know. But let's talk about the responses to Katt. Katt said a lot of things, and my personal take on the Katt Williams interview is that he was responding to being bullied. I feel like they try to marginalize Katt Williams. They try to say he's on drugs. They try to say he's got the short man complex. They try to say he don't make as much money as some of these comedians, but he actually makes more because he's independent. And they try to really go off on Katt a lot because he's opinionated. And Katt is opinionated. But I feel like Katt Williams was responding to being blackballed, being put out of certain like gatekeepers, they call it, like there was gatekeeping against him. And I feel like Katt Williams is always the underdog because he is the underdog. I know he says a lot, and I know he has a large megaphone, and he says a lot. I get it. Every time he says something is amplified. But I will give Katt Williams credit. He don't do a lot of major interviews. He does smaller interviews like radio stations and things like that. But the last major interview I saw was him and Larry King, right? And it was a really good interview. He was well composed. And I'll say on Club Shay Shay, he wasn't drunk. He wasn't high. He was very clear and clairvoyant, and everything he said, he didn't stutter. However, in some of the responses I saw some people stuttering. I saw some people, going, and it just felt to me like they were uncomfortable in their response, and he had peace in his truth. So I don't know if he was lying or if he just believed what he said so much. But Katt Williams to me seemed like a man that was at peace with everything he had to say. And some of those responses felt to me like they were still struggling with being at peace about it. How did y'all? Oh, go ahead, Retro. What you got, Cuzzo?
What response, bro? Ain't nobody never say nothing, cuz. Ain't nobody just say, nah, bro, you lying, bro. Ain't no one come out yet and say, bro, you lying. I know Faison might have said something and this like that. I get it, but like the main people we talking about, no one came out and said, man, Katt full of crap. Ain't no one said it yet. I can be wrong. You can ask the guest, ask anybody in the comments. I can be wrong.
Has anybody heard anyone say that Katt is lying? I haven't heard it, Retro.
I want to be sure.
I haven't heard it. I have heard responses.
He got a platform. If I'm Steve Harvey, once again, Steve Harvey got a radio station or a podcast, a syndicated show. Come on, man. You see what speaking of the Paperboy, what you call them, the Paperboy boys, or however Kevin Hart got
Plastic Cup Boys, yeah, Plastic Cup Boys.
But they throwing in shots on the NBA game, bro. Really? They let me know they were desperate, bro. It got to be some truth to that, bro. Ain't nobody pick up the phone yet. Like, meet me outside, bro. Come on, bro. Or I know you just don't want to have everything on the internet, but for him to, like you say, be so He was standing on business, and I don't think he was lying, bro. I don't think he was lying. Ain't nobody said it yet.
Yeah. Yeah.
He said, man, because one thing that I wanted to say, the reason why I heard Katt Williams say something about Faison. It just some of the comedians that I know the Plastic Cup Boy, because my dude J Dub is in there. Me and him used to do Oakland back in the day, but Faison, me and Faison Love did a comedy show maybe about 15 years ago or something. We did it, and so that was my dude. I was gonna bring him to Cleveland, but he liked this girl that I used to like, and anyway, me and Faison was talking. So she asked him because he was trying to pipe the girl or have relations with the girl. So she said, "Yeah, you know Steve." He said, "No, Steve who?" I said, "Okay, man, we were just cool yesterday." So I just like, "I get that." So I understand the mentality of people. That let me know the mindset of people. So when I'm listening to Katt Williams, I'm listening for certain things.
Yeah.
Because
Clues
you
and
can my
hints.
face and tell me it's raining.
Yeah, clues and hints. And that's what I was saying, right? Like, to me, it really felt like he was responding to years of people coming for him. And so he finally said, you know what? Because I believe in this. I don't start nothing, but I will finish it. Like I'm gonna defend myself. I'm not no bully. I'm not the offender. I'm not gonna come after you. But hey, man, don't come for me because I'm going to defend myself rigorously. Unless the Holy Spirit tell me to shut my mouth and let me fight the battle, then I'll shut up. But if it's a moment when I feel like the Lord ain't really holding me back, I might, you know. So having said that, I just don't like bullies, and I don't like people that come for other people for no reason incessantly. You know what I'm saying? So I really saw a man, and I'm coming straight to you, Tay. I really saw a man in Katt Williams that was tired of people just talking about him without a response. And so he just timed it and he said, I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna tell you this, y'all. I'm gonna give 50 Cent, Kanye West, and Katt Williams credit for being genius marketers of controversy. They know when to say something and hit you with it hard and ruffle up the entire internet. You know, and I'm gonna give Katt Williams this credit. Katt Williams refused to judge Kanye West as being anything more than what we say he is, a genius that has some mental health struggles. And he said, I don't have a problem with Kanye because what are we supposed to do? If a person has special needs, why are we expecting them? This is what Katt said, and I'll try to find the clip. He said, if a person has special needs, and if we think that Kanye's special, why are we expecting him to behave normally? Why are we putting so much stock in him and saying, why is he behaving badly? If you really think he has special needs, then treat him as such and allow him the space to get help and to work through things and don't hang on every word. I had to give him a lot of credit because he really refused to stand in the seat of judgment against Kanye. And, you know, and I'm sure people might have said Katt had things going on. So he maybe had some empathy. But go ahead, Tay, you wanted to respond and say something a little bit earlier.
Well, I was only going to respond to the question about who came out and refuted. Well, the only person that actually came out with a reputable refute was Ricky Smiley. And his wasn't necessarily that there was a lie. It was a differing in details. And Cube came out and essentially aired out where the differing in details come. You know, they did both try out for Money Mike. And initially, he did get the part. Essentially, in high, you know, it's like, you interview, if you've ever held a position where you had to interview individuals, you could interview somebody who is phenomenal, but you have to honor the process. So if you say, okay, you're phenomenal, we love you, you're great, but we did, you know, schedule these other 5 interviews and we have to honor the process. And in the process, you find another candidate who is hands down blows you away. You got to give him the part. And Cube said that. He said, look, he's right. He did read for Money Mike. And initially, well, you know, if there was no other person better, yeah. But Katt showed up. He came prepared. He brought this character to life. He did so well that he not only took this bit part, but we expanded it so that he could be more present in the movie. So the only person that I think that he had an issue with, who genuinely, it was a differing vantage points because of the details. Because of course you're not going to go back to Ricky Smiley and say, you're not the right person for that part, so we're going to go ahead and take that from you. You go back and you say, you know what? we found something that I think might fit you better. And so we want to put you here versus there.
Yeah.
He's the only one that was able to stand, offer documentation, have receipts, and show, like, I did not come and lie. I told the truth of the details that I had. And then Katt came in, and then when Cube came in, we all figured out, like, both men are telling the truth. They're both telling the truth at the same time.
You know what? And that's a great point, Tay. Because you know, everyone sees things from their perspective, which is why I can't be mad at neither Ricky Smiley nor Katt, because at least Ricky Smiley got online and explained his side. And he never said Katt was lying. So to your credit, Retro, Ricky Smiley never said Katt's lying. He just said, here's what I saw happen, and here's what happened from my perspective. You know what I'm saying? So you can't be mad at a person for telling their side of the story, especially when I don't feel like Katt he doesn't bring this up all the time. You know, I feel like Katt Williams, once he addresses something, he'll leave it alone. But he gonna address it really. He gonna talk about it. Once he get it out, he kind of leave it alone. You know what I'm saying? All right.
He was also on about the dress too as well. So it wasn't just that, no. So I guess what, 50-50? I know what he said about the dress. He was on the radio. Y'all heard what he said. What anybody said about the dress? Steve Hart.
Oh no, nobody.
Okay then.
Steve, Kevin Hart. Hey, Kevin Hart took the Kevin Hart took the high road.
This man got a radio station, bro. He could have easily, Ricky Smiley could have easily said, look, bro, he didn't do it.
Yeah, and it's like this. Look, listen. When you as a man, Katt Williams,
true to what he's saying.
It's true, and it's never put on a dress for a role.
Yeah.
And yet other comedians have. And again, we're not talking about back in the day, Steve, when, you know, it was the gag to wear a dress. We're talking about in today's world where it's more like emasculating in today's world. It's kind of a negative thing, right? In today's world, from a masculinity standpoint. You know, Kevin Hart hearing the conspiracy theories, Tay, that black men have to be emasculated or go through some sort of feminine ritual in order to make it in Hollywood. He knew that. Kevin Hart knew that. He did an interview saying, nah, I haven't worn no dress. I don't have no plan. He said it. And then a year later, he wears the dress. You can't deny that. That's all online. Kevin didn't say nothing about wearing a dress when he responded to Katt. What he said was, you need to get the hate out your heart, champ. You need to get the hate out your heart. As a matter of fact, I need y'all to watch my new movie coming out on the 12th. He just said, stop being a hater. And then he went on to his new movie. But he never said nothing about him. Right.
He just, none of them did, bro. I'm being honest.
Yeah.
I think they all know. They know. I mean, they know.
They messed up at the end of the day.
Well, they know what they have to do too. It's like fraternity. Once you're in the club, there are club clauses that you can't go against. It's just like Freemasonry. You could be in the club, but not necessarily be initiated at the highest level. So yeah, you are affiliated, but you don't have the same information as a 33rd degree Mason would. You are a lower level initiate. You're a private in the Army. You don't have corporal access. You don't have corporal clearance. Therefore, once you get up to a certain rank, you know what is expected of you, and therefore there are clauses put upon you, and you can't speak about it. Even if somebody comes out and says, you know what you had to do, you can't address it because it goes against everything that you've been indoctrinated into. So no, they're not going to say anything because they already know. You know what you've had to do. You understand what you've signed up to. You've been granted this upper level clearance. Therefore, like Katt Williams, if you want to shake the beehive and be stung by the hornets or the bees, you pay the penance, and they don't. So they don't say anything.
Yeah. See that?
But you know what? Remember this. Don't ever forget this, people. If somebody want to do something, they'll make a way. If they don't, they'll make an excuse. When I first came out here, it was back in 2001. I wrote a movie called The Roommate, and I was homeless during this time. And Eddie Griffin helped me sell that to this woman. They gave me $5,000. I said, man, that's the most money I ever saw in my life at that time. But you know what's so funny? That movie made $100 million. It's a horror film, came out in 2011. So people do what they want to do. And I've never had to pray on my knees in front of men because I'm from Cleveland. We don't do that in Cleveland.
My God.
In the West Coast, it's not about black versus white. It's about man versus woman. And if they want the men to be when they figure out a way to get men pregnant, these women are in trouble. It's gonna go from Me Too to what about us? I'm telling you, man.
Let's see, this is what I get for having a comedian on with a show called Offend Everybody. And trust me, that was the cleaned up version.
Hey, but
Steve,
look,
Steve be going in. Go ahead, Cuzzo.
No, offending everybody. He did that, but also he helped everybody out by offending them because nobody wasn't talking about Ricky Smiley. Wasn't nobody talking about Katt Williams. Wasn't nobody talking about FaZe. I ain't trying to be funny. I know they're all legends and now we're talking about it. People are talking about it. That's all I'm saying now. So now you looking up and see who these other people are. If they're getting Googled, they're getting searched. So, you know, at the end of the day, if you're talking about 37 million on Ricky Smiley now. So Ricky Smiley decided to go do a comedy show. And the people let him, they're going to have some nice crowds now, bro.
All right, so Retro.
What he's going to say now. I'm going to pay for a Ricky Smiley show. I want to see what he's going to say.
I'm going to play devil's advocate, cuz. All right, Will Smith slapped Chris Rock. No one expected it. It wasn't a skit. That was real life. Will had a mental breakdown moment, and he got violent against a former friend on live TV at the Oscars. Chris Rock waited. He ain't say nothing. Chris Rock did the right thing for two aspects. Number one, he composed himself and he didn't fight back and he didn't respond and he continued to do his job at the Oscars.
He dropped the special though. He knew he was gonna drop.
But that's my point. Before he figured out he was gonna drop a special, I know he was embarrassed. He was angry. In other words, no, just hear me out.
When he got slapped, it was like money in the bank. He knew people was gonna pay. Everyone gonna pay to see what Chris Rock. And then what happened? More Netflix special. Everybody looking at Chris Rock now. So I don't know. You think it was real? I think it was staged at the end of the day. I really do. I'm gonna be straight up with you. That's that Hollywood ritual. Bob. They're gonna be, man. They're gonna come out with Rush Hour 8 with these two people, bro. Ain't no telling the Hollywood, bro. Come on, man. They making this up. Bad Will Smith from the Grammys? That's not. Come on, man. No, they're gonna drop something together, and not the Grammys, Oscars. My apologies, the Oscars. And it's gonna be some written rule that's gonna get back in there. It's gonna be some major role that Will Smith come back out on. Everybody looking at him like ain't nothing happened.
All right, so let me play the other side because you took devil's advocate. You took the conspiracy theory. I'm gonna go the other route. I'm gonna say, what if Will Smith didn't do it on purpose, and what if Chris Rock didn't expect it and it wasn't planned? And what if Chris Rock didn't think money? He didn't think ticket sales. What if Chris was really upset and he was like, "What the hell just happened? Thought we were friends, right?" I'm gonna say he composed himself. And then when he got his mind together, he began to think, let me shut up. Everybody want me to say something, but I'm going to make them pay for my voice. And Chris Rock waited, a year, 9 months, a year. And he does his special. And it was one of his biggest selling events. And he had sold out all types of events prior to that. So he really, really benefited from the publicity. And Michael Jackson once said, there's no such thing as bad publicity. Michael Jackson said, hey, as long as if they talking about you. Some people say Michael's team put out the Elephant Man bones and the sleeping in the cryogenic chamber. They're saying that Michael's team might have put that out. Yeah. Right. So having said that, you made a great point, cuz you said that Ricky Smiley is blowing up. His name is blowing up. All of them. Yeah. So this is my question. Shannon Sharp was brilliant to let him speak. He didn't interrupt him. Wouldn't it be wise for Ricky Smiley, Faison Love, other people to maybe not say nothing and then put together a show, put together something, and then do a response? Steve, I see you ready to respond. Is it wise for them to be quiet or to speak?
Well, I mean, people do what they want to do. Like I said, people do what they want to do, but people do what they want to do. It wouldn't be either or. The reason why, and Chris Rock explained why he didn't. That was a very ingenious move on Chris Rock, because most African American men wouldn't have. I mean, Will Smith had a big foot in his. Well, I'm from Cleveland, so it wouldn't have been like that. So Chris Rock did a very good thing, and one thing Chris Rock has to really look forward to. And I never really liked Chris Rock because he tried to play me about a long time ago at the Comedy Store when I did the show, but he was very professional. And actually, they have a new movie, and I think he'd be great. There's going to be another Amistad as well as Roots, and I think Chris Rock would have a great part. He's going to be the lead actor because he can take an ass whooping perfectly. I was all for him. God bless him.
Hey, hold up, Steve. Hey, how did Chris Rock try to front on you years ago? Tell the story, man.
This is the story, and I told Snoop Dogg about it. Snoop said, "Man, F Chris," because what happened was I was doing a show at the Comedy Store, man. I'm like a teenager, man. I'm doing the show. I just killed the show, man. I killed it. This is back in maybe 2000. So everybody come up to me, shaking my hand. I was with Eddie Griffin, and Chris Rock come up to me. I said, "Oh man, how you?" He just, "Man, get the fuck away from me." I said, "Damn, man, I said, "Okay." Then he walked off with something. I said, "Okay." He played me. I told Snoop because I was working on a movie with Snoop back then. He's like, "Man, blank Chris Rock, man." And Papa Snoop bodyguard like that, man. So that's why Snoop don't like him. Yeah, it was. I said,
what could have been the reason? What could have been the reason?
Maybe I was black. I don't, because he man, I wouldn't have never expected that. Everybody was shaking my hand. He came up to me. I thought we was friends, Chris. But you know what's so funny? But I can't say too much stuff about because he's a very nice person. But Tony Rock that's my dude, man. Me and him was on that man and wife show together. So, but Chris, man, I'm telling you, the Lord always fights your battles, and the Lord came out in the form of Will Smith because Will smacked the shit out of this mother. In the name of Jesus, of course.
Oh, so that was retribution for 20 years ago, and that was for you, Steve.
Look how God works. Won't He do it?
See, Steve, that's the perfect example of people telling their truth. According to Steve, that's the reason it happened is because Chris fronted on him back in 23 years ago.
2000, 2001, something right there. But the Lord, that's only like a split second of time. God don't care. Like my Aunt Jean that one time ate my pancake. God is going to play her back. She's going to choke on a biscuit, I pray in the name of Jesus, because you know what? She's 600 pounds. And the Lord don't forget that day at IHOP.
Steve, I'm not. You know what, Steve? This ain't Freestyle Fridays. I said let's keep it journalistic today. Let's stay. Steve ready? He about to do a bit. He ready to go. All right. One thing to say, Steve. I saw a meme. It wasn't even a meme. It was a video. There was somebody that was eating. You ever had them Popeyes biscuits? Okay. My man took an entire Popeye biscuit, put it in his mouth like a Dorito, and chewed and swallowed without taking a swig of drink. And I'm like, how's that even possible? You know how thick them damn biscuits.
Now, I mean, that's almost like what the sister Mother Claddy at my church do, because she take biscuits, but she do the same thing almost. That's amazing.
You know what, Steve? Hold on. I can't find the mute button fast enough. Get this. All right, let's get back to Katt. Let's get back to Katt, man. Hold up. All right. Well, let's look at one more clip. Oh, you know what? I thought this was a really good clip. So yeah, let's look at this one. So Katt Williams, not only does he tell the truth, and he is a truth teller and someone that will really, really just tell you how he feels, unadulterated. Man, Katt Williams, is really big on helping people, from what I understand. Hold on, did I get the right one? Nope, that's the wrong one. Katt Williams is really good at helping people, so I want to share this. I think it's this one. Yeah, there it is. Check this out, y'all.
Sole sponsor of Melba Moore, getting a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. You did all that on your own. Why? Do you have a personal relationship with Melba?
No. I understood that she was a Black woman in a time where it mattered what you look like, and they had a certain thing that they needed you to look like and act like in order to be successful.
Right.
And she just never did that. She wasn't tall enough. They didn't like her looks. They didn't like that her hair was natural. They talked crazy about her, and yet she still made all of these achievements. And I'm like, understand, I'm already in the Comedy Hall of Fame. I'm already going to heaven no matter what happens. If it ends in a second, I'm up there. So it gives me the leeway to do some things that are simply because it's the right thing to do. So the truth of the matter is they wanted to give me a star, but please don't consider me and this person been sitting on this list this whole time. And just because they ain't got enough money, they can't get their just due. That's crazy. When do you start? That's hurtful. What if somebody can't afford their flowers? You mean they don't get them? No, God don't operate like that. He was sending a dummy like me to come and take care of that. Just so that the right thing happens. That's how the universe works.
You were the sole sponsor of Melba Moore.
So this is why this is significant to me, right? Because Auntie Melba, I call her Auntie Melba because she's actually been in the comments of my show before. Melba Moore has come on to Instagram through various people. Somehow she found my show. It could have been Farrah from Destiny's Child because she's been in my comments as well, or it could have been someone else. But Auntie Melba was on my show, and I think she even saw the interview where the lady on Kendra tried to go off on me, and Auntie Melba was like, I saw that and that wasn't right. So she kind of, and so when I heard this, I said, oh man, is this true? She didn't respond to me, because I think that she wants to let Katt stay anonymous. But when I looked at the caption on her page, it said, "Thank you, KW." Now that was done, a year or two ago, whenever she got her star. But I went back and looked at the caption and I said, oh, wow. She thanked him while keeping him anonymous. He wasn't nowhere in the picture. No one knew it was him. And when Shannon mentioned it, Katt was like, well, he chuckled. He didn't want to talk about it. You got to give credit to people who do God's work, privately. You got to give credit to people who bless others. He didn't have to help pay the money or whatever she needed to get the star. Because, some of that stuff comes down to business. You got the accolades. They don't want to give you, if you don't have the money, they're not going to go ahead and make it happen. So some of that stuff is political and it comes down to money. I'm so glad that he was able to do that for her. We don't talk enough about what Katt Williams does. I've even heard him say, he said on Shannon's interview, he said, if I go to a city, let's say he goes to Charlotte, North Carolina, and he makes a good amount of money, he'll give 10% of his money as a tithe to the homeless. He will go out to people in the streets and find out who need the money and privately. And Retro, you good at this. Retro, with all your shoes and all your giveaways and the stuff you do on Thanksgiving, you do all. My cousin, I got to give you credit. You've been doing this online shoe culture stuff for a while, and you've been blessed off of that. But I've seen you give back so many times. I've seen you and your wife go out and do so many things and help people. That's what it's about. And I don't think that the celebrities that are doing it, I know they don't want to be seen. I heard Michael Jackson was the biggest giver in all of celebrity history. I heard that he beat everyone, period. They said Mike gave more, period. Ain't a question. And a lot of times, they didn't talk about it because he didn't want to talk about it. He was like, let me just do it because that's my way of saying thank you to God for blessing me with this talent. And, but we don't talk enough about Katt. Responses, comments.
Well, like you said, I've heard Michael Jackson was a big giver, but at the same time, me knowing the things I know, Magic Johnson has been a big giver throughout the years, and there's several people who can attest to that. Easy as well.
Yeah, I definitely, Magic is definitely a giver. Number one, Magic has built, businesses in the hood. He took Starbucks to the hood. First, he took movie theaters to the hood. Think about this. Look, you from the Midwest, like I am, Steve, and I don't want to hear nothing about Atlanta.
I'm from the East.
Okay, fine. You from the East. You from Cleveland. Cool. I'm from Chicago. I'm claiming the Midwest. So anyway, whatever, man. We ain't gonna.
Y'all are different time zone as us. We're on the East Coast time zone.
You're right. I get that. But my point is this: growing up in that part of the country, to see someone give back is a big deal. To see someone give back is a big deal, and you don't have to, So I really appreciate celebrities that give back. Anybody else want to say anything about just the whole give back aspect? Retro, you want to talk about why you give back so much with your giveaways and the shoe things you do and the food drives you do?
Not really, bro. I wouldn't even expect for you to bring it up. It's just something I do, bro. It's just something I feel like God put it into me to do, bro. I mean,
That's what's up.
That's about it on that. I'm gonna
Okay.
keep doing it too.
Yeah. Well, hey, I won't embarrass you. I won't say too much, but your father's a preacher. So we see where it come from, right? It was instilled in you from little.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all gotta understand. I took this young man to church. This is my younger cousin. Let me stop. That's my cousin right there. I love Retro. But no, Tay, have you ever seen a celebrity that gave or did things and didn't want to be seen? I really think it's commendable for Katt to do the kind of stuff that he does and not want to be recognized for it.
I don't think you have to be a celebrity. I think that giving is an essential part of being a believer. He represents himself as a believer, and the Word of God says that you give in secret. You don't do it for the attaboys of man, because if you do it for man, then you've already received your reward. You do it in secret. You don't do it so that others can see, so that others can big you up and exalt you, because then you have essentially gone against the very nature of giving. And I loved the fact, it was my favorite part of his whole interview was when he talked about when he finds himself in a different city, that because he's not affiliated with a church or a place that he pays his tithes, he pours it back into the community. And, he didn't get in depth. He didn't go into, I give it here, I give it here, I give it here. He just said, this is how I feel, I can give back in a way that is beneficial to the spaces that the doors where God has allowed me to be. He's opened and allowed me to be in, and that's enough. I think that's enough. I think that he's doing it absolutely right. If you're doing it so that people can collect your accolades and you can have them pat you on the back, then you've destroyed the very purpose of it. It also says that you let others speak your praise. You don't exalt yourself. You let others say what a good deed you've done. You let others speak about your cheerful giving. You let others speak about the good that you've done in communities or the people that you've helped. And you help the poor, you help the orphaned, you help the homeless. But you are not to be the person that speaks on those things, or you have essentially received all that you will ever get.
All that you're gonna get. You just preached the word right there. Hold up. No, that's the truth, because you're supposed to do things in secret and God will reward you openly. It's not about people recognizing you. And if you do it for recognition, that's all that you're gonna get, is that little bit of accolade. So yeah. Hey, I want to cover one more clip and then we're gonna call it a night. I can open the floor for just regular discussion. This is a clip from the Shannon Sharpe interview with Katt Williams, and they're talking about Taraji P. Henson and her opening up recently and having an emotional moment, saying that she worked so hard, reach all these heights and accolades, and still has to fight for equal pay, or even not equal pay, just what she's worth. Check this out.
Taraji P. Henson got extremely emotional the other day. She was giving an interview,
Yes,
and saying that they're vastly underpaid, and say the math is not mathing. They get X amount of dollars by the time Uncle Sam get his cut, by the time the agency get their cut, and what you see they were supposed to get is a fraction of that. Where do you come down on that, Katt?
it was the saddest thing ever, because imagine being in your genre, in your sub niche, whatever it is. Imagine being in your lane. Imagine being one of the very top of your lane, that to the point where if they don't take you for the role, there's not 3 black actresses that they can say are bigger than you that we're going to give this to. Imagine you being at that point and have to humble yourself and say, they're not paying me, y'all. and they not making my pay go up because I'm doing better or nothing. It don't matter to them that I'm famous and people know me or nothing. They want to pay me exactly what they paying the new girl. And I've been suffering under it for a decade now and just taking it. I just been getting whooped. But I just got to come say, this is wrong. We should be ashamed. But this is a country where we don't pay the teachers and then we say the kids is the most important thing. You can't have both of them. If you do that, we're going to end up with...
Taraji P. Henson got extremely emotional the other day. She was giving an interview.
Yeah.
You know, reactions to that, you know, basically, man, you know, Katt is a real one. Katt is acknowledging that we should have been looking at Black women's salaries for a minute, right? Because I did an entire show on the gender pay gap about 4 weeks ago, and it's true that in equal markets with equal skill sets, women make 15 to 20% less than men. And in Hollywood, the gap is huge. It's huge. All right. Taraji was in the movie with Brad Pitt. Now, I understand he's Brad Pitt, but hey, she's Taraji Henson. She's the Brad Pitt of Black actresses. Brad Pitt made 10 million. Taraji was offered 100,000. She was trying to fight for 500,000. They said, we give you 150. When you do the math, 150,000 is 1%, 1.5% of 10 million. So the pay gap in that one instance was ridiculous. Not saying that I don't know where he was in his career. I don't know where she was. So maybe there's a reason she got paid less, but that much less is huge. And the fact that they couldn't even give her $500,000, that just says that they didn't think she was worth it. And that is a big problem. I like that Katt brought that out in his interview. I like that they talked about it. Comments on that, on the gender pay gap and what brothers in position of power can do to help sisters.
Understand, it's not show white, it's show business. And the word business is bigger than show. It don't have nothing to do with Black people or white people. You know why she didn't get as much as Brad Pitt? Because she's not Brad Pitt. Brad Pitt is a bigger name, and it's a difference. There's scorecards. Don't know when you get up, Brad Pitt was number one on the scorecard. So he's number one. That means when you look at that the call sheet, we call him, Brad Pitt's name is up top. That's how it goes. It don't matter what color you are, if you're a man or a woman. This is not 1930. There's a gap. And if somebody said, hey, we're going to give you $50 a day. If she don't like it, don't take the role. Go somewhere else. Producer, this is how movies is not just making, it's not a studio. It's this is a business. Until you start producing, you won't understand the business. I understand the business. I've been on all aspects of the spectrum, above the line and below the line. I've done sound, direct, write, act. I still get paid for TV shows. I was on The Shield 20 years ago. I still get paid. So the point is, we complain too much. If you don't like it, do your own and get all the money. That's how it goes.
Okay, so Steve, let me try the other side of this. Who is a top Black actress in terms of skill set and name? Give me an idea. Anybody, throw a name out there.
This is from Denzel. About this. Michael T. Williamson. That's my godfather. He's the most working actor in Hollywood. We got the dude who directed Snakes on the Plane. We all talk about this and laugh all the time. Michael T. Williamson is the worst actor, and he's the most working actor in Hollywood.
Hold on. Okay, so that's him. Give me actress. Tay, you said a name.
Viola Davis, Angela Bassett.
You can stop right there. Viola Davis and Angela Bassett. Those are huge names. Those are huge actresses that are extremely, especially Angela Bassett. All right, and Viola Davis. Now, let me ask you this, Steve. If we have a call sheet and you got Angela Bassett and you got Brad Pitt, what should the pay gap be, if any? Like what? Just give me an example. If Brad Pitt is getting 10 million, how much should Angela Bassett get in 2023?
It depends on a lot of things. It's not just putting names on a call sheet. It depends on what the movie's about. It depends on who is the star of the movie. It depends on who is the supporting actor of the movie. There's a lot of things that go into this. It's not just about paying men more. That's just propaganda. I hate this, but this is 2023. A man can be a lady these days. people shouldn't complain this damn much. It's just ridiculous.
Okay, so your thing is don't complain, understand the business.
Shut up and then do it yourself if you don't like it.
Okay, so let me ask someone else. My question is, how do we get the business to be more fair if it is unfair? And I'm talking to Rick and I'm talking to Tay. Let's just say the premise of women aren't paid the same as men when they have the same exact skill set. Like, let's just say the female Brad Pitt, whoever she is. Let's say Angelina Jolie, the female Brad Pitt at that moment. And let's just say she was black.
They would
right?
have paid her, bro.
Well, she's white too.
I know my boy keeps saying it's not about race and all that, man. I can't let you disrespect Taji like that, bro. Really? You don't think you $100,000, bro? $100,000? That's a slap in the face. And you saying what you say? Just take it, or don't take it. Shit, man. That's what she needed to. You don't know what people need, bro. But that's an insult, bro. $100,000. My man got what you say?
10 million.
Come on, bro. She's a national treasure in my eyes, bro. Come on, baby boy. All these movies she played in, bro.
Now hold on, Steve. Before you respond.
It might not be in a movie where, like you were saying, where it was like she wasn't a leading character. But I mean, if it's a 50-50, let's put it like this: if we're doing a Cosby show, if both of them at the Cosby show, they playing both of the same roles, they should get the same money. You think they did? What's my boy? What's the show come on Chicago? Roseanne. Y'all think they did Roseanne like that?
No, because it was her name. She was the top biller. It was her name. But I am interested now. We can get on this. This might be a whole show. And I'm coming to you, Tay, and I'm coming to Steve first because he had a response. Then I'm coming to Tay. But let me make this point. We could do a whole show on this because Steve makes a great point from being in the business. He's produced his own show. He understands the call sheets to how they got to divvy out the money and all that stuff. So I'm gonna give Steve a lot of credit on that part. I will say this though, in corporate America, sometimes the powers that be have to make changes in order to make things fair. So for instance, when black folks weren't allowed to work in the same place as white folks, when the world was segregated, when there was all these issues, we needed white people in power to agree with what Dr. King and them were pushing to say, you know what? Blacks aren't treated fairly. We do need to change the laws. We do need to be, you see what I'm saying? So if women or as a whole are paid less, and let's just say it's unfair, then they would need men in the system to agree with that and to work it from the inside to try to fix that. Now, Steve, you're right. It's still a business and you can't just pay somebody just because they're female. I'm not saying that, but I'm saying if you got Mr. and Mrs. Smith, let's just pick that movie. Let's pick that movie. Let's pick Angelina Jolie and Brad Pitt. The movie is Mr. and Mrs. Smith. Let's just say that they are both top billing. One isn't over the other. I'm just hypothetically. If Angelina Jolie was black. Damn, I said she was white. If Angelina Jolie was black, I don't think she would have got paid whatever she got paid. I think it would have been less. That's my personal opinion. I could be wrong, but I think she would have gotten paid less because I do think white women get more consideration than black women. And then white men and black men are above. Well, I don't even know if black men are above white women. That's a whole nother discussion. But Steve, you had a response earlier. I know I've been long-winded.
Well, no, you're great. But we just have to understand this is a business. Every movie will be different. You know why every movie will be different? Because this is not the 30s or 50s. There are different producers. You know what a producer does? A lot of people don't know. In music, producer makes the beats. But in film and television, they have showrunners. But in film, a producer, an executive producer, is the person who puts the most money in. So producers have a lot of things to pay, not just the actors. They have to pay for the locations, the props, different things. Of course, hair and wardrobe, makeup department, stunts. There's a lot of things to be paid for in movies. So they can't give you just have to understand. I know the business of below the line and above the line. It ain't just because women make more money than men. I know a lot of women who make way more money than men. I know a lot of men who make more money than women. It's not just because they're black or they're white or they're men or they're ladies. We have to stop complaining and think it's not illegal yet. We can still do this if we just try hard enough. We can use our brains. It don't matter. You shouldn't just get $1 million. Michael Jordan ain't gonna get $1 million for playing basketball just because he's black. He had to prove his worth, and then it goes up. That's how it goes. It's not about because, I mean, come on, man. I'm still getting paid 20 years later for TV shows I did a long time ago. If she didn't like it, don't take the job. Produce your own movie. It can be done.
Now, I will give you credit on that because now that turns into another statement, and I'm coming to you, Tay, because I said I would. Do you remember what you wanted to say, Tay?
I do, but I wanted you to finish what you were saying.
Well, entrepreneurship, that's another thing that's super important. And Steve, you do make a great point. Look, if we don't like what corporate America is paying us, start our own business. If we don't like what Hollywood is paying us, create our own content. Now, again, I'm not going to oversimplify and act like it's easy. Okay. But y'all know John Sally from the Detroit Pistons. John Sally, who has hosted TV shows and been a talk show host. He's a regular on Vlad TV. I got a chance to meet John Sally 15 years ago when I first moved to LA. And he was at a party. And Hank was being a photographer, retro. And I was helping Hank being a equipment carrier for my brother. And we were in a room. And it was a bunch of stars. And Sally was in there smoking and everything. Got a chance to get close to him and say, hey, man, I'm an actor. You know what I mean? I'm new to LA. I'm trying to figure out how to get on, trying to understand this whole business. He looked at me and said, you're an actor. Do you write? I said, I have ideas. I haven't written any of it down, but I can write. And he said, hey, man, he said, make your own content. He said, if it's good, Hollywood will come to you. And I said, yeah, that makes sense. But I didn't really act on it. I didn't know how. Now you guys, look, we're on DaveLifeTV. We're on DaveLifeTV. We have lights. We have cameras. We have microphones. And now retro, I am doing what John Sally told me 15 years ago. Make your own content. And then people will come. It took me a while to see it. And Steve, I know you just produced your own show, Offend Everybody. So I know you understand the process of creating your own content and putting your own money in and doing your editing and your writing and it's not easy, but you're right. If we don't like what Hollywood's doing, go do Tyler Perry, make your own plays, get your own audience, talk to the underserved, church community and build yourself up. And now studios are giving you deals. And now he's built his own studio in Atlanta. So you're right. We can get it takes time. But you're right. If we don't like what's going on, we can try to change that. Go ahead, Tay, to finish what you were going to say.
Well, I was going to say, I think we need to, first of all, let's start with the basics. One, women have always been considered inferior, period, throughout history. At one point in time, we were considered property, period. You could not divorce a husband. I don't give a damn what kind of husband he was. Women weren't even allowed to go into a courtroom and say, this is not a relationship that works for me. Only a husband could divorce a wife. A woman could not hold a position of work unless it was housekeeping of some kind or rearing children. So let's be very clear when we start saying what women can and cannot do. It took one of the great leaps and changes was in 1792 when Mary Wollstonecraft wrote her book, The Vindication of the Rights of Woman. So the reality of it is regardless to what your industry is, women have always been seen as inferior, period. And yes, she could create her own business, but we're talking about 10 million versus 150,000, which is the equivalent of the CEO of a company and her saying, do you want fries with that?
Yeah.
Even if she decided to strike out on her own, the capital it would take for her to produce such, she didn't even make in that movie. The reality is this. As women, we do make less money than men. Why? Because we are still seen as the inferior sex, regardless of whether or not men want to see it or not. Statistics, surveys, 10 times after 10 times after 10 times has proven, not just in the entertainment industry, but business across the board, period. And as Black women, we're still making less money than our male counterparts. It doesn't matter if men believe it or not. It doesn't matter if men like it or not. It matters what you can produce and document. And we can produce and document it. Again, we're saying 10 million versus 150,000. Would you like a shake with that, darling? What you want? Do you want me to open your straw?
Yeah.
So this is where we're at. Yes, it matters your skill set. Absolutely. I completely agree with you. We have to also weigh what is your skill set? What gifts do you have? How do you measure up against the part? Where are you in experience? Where are you in tenure? How long has this person been in the business? What is their star power? What is their earning potential? What is their box office? But at the end of the day, you're still saying to a woman who has a male counterpart, whether he's the big earner or not, 10 million to 150,000.
Yeah, that's a huge pay gap.
But hold on, Dave. Let me ask this, because all we're saying now is I can't do. Anytime you tell yourself you can't do nothing, you'll be a loser, because you're a loser because you're already saying I'm not inferior. You said women can't do this. Women. Let me ask you this then: since women make so much less than men, who is the vice president of the United States of America? Case closed. Wow.
For the first time in history, it's a woman. But how many people prior to her have been in that position? You could argue, Steve, hang on, babe, I hear you. But you can argue that. But we are now sitting at the cusp of the very first woman to do it in centuries, she's not even 0.0001. So technically, if we weighed her against her male counterparts, she doesn't damn well exist. She only paved the way for the women coming after her to begin to negotiate. That doesn't necessarily guarantee them $10 million or a seat as the vice president of the United States ever again. It does say that, hey, we honored you. One of you made it. We can always say we did it. Doesn't mean we'll ever do it again, but we could always say we did it. So when we look at these disparities, we have to also factor in what is at the lead of them. Just like civil rights, just like that movement, it wasn't just us on the line. It was white faces that's put their lives on the line for change. It has to also be men standing on that line saying this is not right. And we are also asking for this change as well, not just the women. There has to be some of you that says, you know what, I see this disparity and it's not right, and I'm going to stand with you in solidarity.
I agree. Let me reset the room right quick. So look, everybody is watching. You're watching Dave Life After Dark episode number 234. Dave Life After Dark episode number 234. Did Katt Williams expose the truth in comedy? Did he expose the truth in comedy? Right now, we're discussing how Katt and Shannon Sharpe discussed Taraji P. Henson breaking down in tears over the gender pay gap and how she's worked her way up and she's still, begging for scraps, essentially, and how she's supposed to be a leader to the younger women coming up behind her. And the industry is tough. So we're discussing the gender pay gap. We're going to close the episode out here because we're getting close to 2.5 hours. But I do want to get everybody on the panel a chance to give some final remarks. First of all, I want to say this conversation, we need to do a whole nother episode on the gender pay gap, because I think both of you are making some points. And I think both of you can be right. Tay is absolutely right. We need men in power to help women bridge the pay gap. Like, you got to change the system from within the system. And it's not all going to come from the bottom up. Sometimes the people that are up top got to come help. They got to reach out. So I do believe that men in power have to help, especially in Hollywood, because Hollywood is such a fraternity of cronies. Okay. And Steve has a great point too, that if you don't like what they're offering, say no. Go build your own thing. Go do your own thing. And Tay made another great counterpoint that it still takes money to build that, right? So, okay, they're not paying me enough. So where am I going to get the capital from? So it's a whole discussion in that. Steve, I wanted to give you a chance to respond. I know you had something. It looked like you were ready for a response, but let me just say this, Steve, don't get us back down another rabbit hole.
Hey, I'm not. I just, hey, whatever everybody say is correct. I just say this. When I came to Hollywood, I had $200. I didn't know one person. I would walk these streets every day till the sun came up. And guess what? I didn't know people. I didn't know how to get up. I didn't know nothing. So it's an excuse, and I'm still making money. So people do what they want to do. And think about this. You say it's hard for women. It's hard for when they talk about civil rights now. They're not even talking about black people. They're talking about homosexuals. That's what civil rights is now. And all we're doing, if you complain and say I don't have this, all you're doing, that's like walking to California from New York. You can do it, but if you say I can't do it because it's hard and it's heavy, you're telling yourself you won't do it. Replace the word can't with won't, and you won't be able to do nothing. Every day, remember this. This is the last thing I'm going to say. Every day, it's not hard for women. It's not hard for, that's life. But every day in the jungle, the gazelle wakes up. And the gazelle has to, he can't say it's hard for the gazelles. He has to run. And every day the lion wakes up. And the gazelle knows I have to outrun that lion if I'm going to make it. The lion knows if I want to survive, I have to catch that gazelle. They have a hard life, but they don't complain. They get it. And winners get it. They don't make excuses. Those are the people who make the way up, the winners who get it, not the ones who make excuses. Excuse people need to just make excuses and fall away to the side for the real ones to come through and get it.
I got you, Steve. Hey, and that's my homeboy, Steve Turner. Steve Turner, man. Offend Everybody. Hey, Steve, when is Offend Everybody going to be released? I know that you're working on it. When is it going to be released?
I believe Offend Everybody is going to be released next month, and we're bringing another TV show coming back. It's called, you heard of Def Comedy Jam? I did the Def Jam tour and the Comedy View, but guess what? This new thing coming out on the West called West Coast Comedy Jam. Producer wants to got a show for that on Wednesday, January 10th at the Ice House in Pasadena, California, 8 p.m. Come on, because I'm going to give you some new stuff for the next special. It's going down like a midget in prayer.
All right, my man, Steve Turner. Everybody follow comedian Steve Turner on Instagram, comedian Steve Turner, Instagram, comedian Steve Turner. That's my homie. He's on Freestyle Fridays, and we're going to have you back soon. All right, Steve, I appreciate you, man. Thank you.
I love you. And if you want to say Jesus is a lady, hey, for all praise to her too.
Steve, you didn't see some article saying Jesus was transgender. Did you show me that?
They said in California churches, they said Jesus is a transvestite. You can even Google that. That's what they say in California. So everybody's accounted for now, I guess.
My man, Steve. Hey, Steve, stay on the line, man. I appreciate you, man.
Yeah,
all right. Tay, close us out with what you want to say. Any closing remarks before we go?
Well, I want to say this, Steve. I don't believe that women are inferior, and I didn't say that. And I don't believe that the word can't is even a part of my vernacular. However, what I do want to say is that as we watch this 2024 begin with a bang, I want everyone to be cognizant that a lot of times when you see these things and they take off running and they explode, they're oftentimes ploys of distraction.
Yep.
Let's not forget that the Epstein list came out. Let's not forget that there are different things that are happening across the world, that this is a presidential year. Let's not forget the core of the crux of the things that we need to be paying attention to. It's easy to get consumed by gossip and for it to take off like a freight train and derail your attentions. But we're in a fight for our kiddos. We're in a fight for our earning potential. We're in a fight for the things that truly matter. And the world is changing in leaps, quantum leaps and bounds. Katt Williams is a drop in a bucket of a year that just began. Don't become consumed by distraction. Keep your focus, keep your mind, guard your heart, and pay attention to the things that matter.
That's a word. All right. Hey, Tay, I appreciate you. Life Coach TayRob. Life Coach TayRob is in the building. You can follow Tay on Instagram at TayRob0512. At TayRob0512. All right. And now we come down. Retro. Closing remarks before we let you go, man. How do you feel about the Katt Williams interview? How do you feel about everything he said? And just any closing remarks, cuz?
Man, like she pretty much said, man, like I said earlier, he gave everyone that's looking on the internet, give y'all something to do. Don't get caught up. There's a lot of stuff going on in the world right now. Besides that, what I want everybody to do though on this platform, Dave, thank you for having us. Miss Lady, Steve, Dave, everybody on the platform, smash the like button. Get the algorithms right, man.
Come on, man. Come on.
Y'all on here ghost watching. Stop ghost watching. My cousin got a good platform. Please smash the like button, bro. And I'm gonna leave it at that, man.
Hey man, I appreciate that, cuz for real, man. I appreciate that. That's my cousin, man, Retro Rick. Y'all can follow him on Retro Rick and Maddie Kicks. Retro Rick and Maddie Kicks on Instagram, on YouTube. He out there,
TikTok,
man.
Facebook,
TikTok, Facebook.
all that.
Hey, look him up, Retro Rick. And listen, follow his show. What's the name of the show, Retro?
Retro Vision Podcast. We got it on the Retro Rick and Matty Kicks. We got a lot of dope guests coming up. We're getting ready to start actually season 2 this Wednesday with a couple of guests. We messing with people in the culture, rap culture. We got Jay the Kiss pushing up on our podcast.
Yes.
We got I got Greg Street. He's a famous DJ down here. I got other radio personalities pushing up on that my podcast here in Atlanta. So it's gonna be dope, man. We're gonna talk sneakers, culture, shoes, and whatnot, man. Y'all pull up and support. Miss Lady, I'm definitely gonna give you a follow. Steve, I'm giving you a follow too as well, black man.
Hey, that's what it
That's
is.
my cousin, Steve. My cousin. We talked about it earlier. Cousin Steve.
That's what's up.
Cousin Steve.
Hey, so look, man, if y'all ever seen me in some fresh pair of J's, I probably got them from Retro. And if I didn't get them from Retro, I got the idea to get them from Retro. All right. He stay fresh. I'm telling y'all that. That's a real deal, man. All right. So I just want to say this before we go, you guys. It's been a great show. I'm doing the new transition from Instagram to YouTube. Shout out to all the Instagrammers. I see y'all watching. Thank you to everybody that came over from Instagram and came over to YouTube. So everybody that's on YouTube and everybody that's on Instagram, I want you to go to YouTube, type in DaveLifeTV, all one word, and then I want you to go to my page and hit subscribe. And if you go to the live tab, then you can start to see some of the new episodes of Dave Life After Dark. Dave Life After Dark is your favorite late night adult podcast. Your favorite late night adult podcast. It's for the grown and sexy. We talk about stuff that you got to be 18 or older to talk about. And I don't mean we getting raunchy. That just means that we're mature and we grown. All right. And you remember when your parents used to send us to bed, say, go to bed, you too little. And they stay up and have card parties or they talk and they have whatever they go. This is that. We are the parents now. It's time to send the kids to bed, get your drink of choice, and let's talk like grown-ups, man. That's what we do here on Dave Life After Dark. So what I want you guys to do is subscribe, hit the notification button, like the new videos. A bunch of the old videos are going to get removed because it was old content. It wasn't at the level of production that we're on right now. So we're going to give you nothing but high-level production, great interviews. And I've got some, I've also, Cuzzo, I got some celebrity interviews coming up. I can think of 2, 3. But I'm hoping I can book them all. I got a soft agreement on all 3, so I'm working on it, Cuzzo. I'm working on it. And matter of fact, let me addend that. I got number 4 because this young man said he's gonna be the first person that I interview. So Steve, man, we still got to do the live interview on Dave Life TV, man. We need that, bro. I need you. All right.
Yes.
I appreciate you.
It's going to happen. It has to happen, man. I'm alive. You alive. Let's make it happen, man. Because this is going down, man. Like Taliban Airlines for the Mexican pilot.
No doubt. Hey, y'all. So look, it's Dave, man. We're going to go ahead and shut it down. I appreciate all of you guys for joining. Thank you, everybody that joined the stage. So I'm going to remove everyone. Tay, thank you so much. I appreciate you, TayRob. All right, Tay. My man Retro, I appreciate you, Cuzzo. I see you later.
Love, peace, respect.
My man, peace. And then my man Steve, man. Thank you, bro. I appreciate you.
Always, man. I'm with you, Dave. Whatever you need, let's do it.
No doubt. I got you, man. Hey, y'all. Thank you for everyone that joined. This was an excellent interview. I appreciate y'all, every one of you guys for joining. Man, what can I say? The new platform is really working well. This is Dave Life. You are watching Dave Life After Dark. This is episode 234. Did Katt Williams expose the truth in comedy? Did Katt Williams expose the truth in comedy, man? What can I say, y'all? We out. I appreciate y'all, man. I'll see you on the next episode, Thursday night, 7 p.m. But I might do some pop-ups on YouTube. So just keep watching, all right? Peace, everybody.